the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix with a super fast circuit. With the weekend of racing. Thunder on Cocoa Beach, a decades-long classic on Florida's beautiful spaces were raced, including the Superstock and Supercats. There were 5 teams competing at Cocoa Beach, with both fresh and familiar faces on hand. The circuit for Thunder on Cocoa Beach ran along race 3 right there. From the on race insurance breaks down and stops on its way out into the circuit. They are unable to start. Florida 2 offshore Australia may have jumped the but 222 charged, but keeping pace with the Australians ahead. Nigel Hook pulling away in Stancombe in the J and Darren Nicholson in the lead boat. And just look at what those waves and bumps feel like in the cockpit. Drivers really getting a beat down lap after lap. Found the going rough, and as they entered the straightaway on the back stretch with the bigger waves, they took some air and slammed down hard. They came to a complete standstill, floating on the waves. Disaster for 222 offshore Australia, who were out of the race. JBS was still in the race and on course for a runner-up finish in their first ever Class 1 run. Husky Racing Husky Chocolate Steve Curtis and Britt Lilly were on Husky the winners with 20 points, JBS second with 15, and 222 offshore Australia's Giovanni Carpitella and Darren Nicholson could take consolation in third place and 12 points on the board.
Pretty good down the water. So they got a 30-second penalty, which would have been nice to know halfway through the race.
Wow.
And pushed so hard. So, but yeah, I don't know if we'd have got by them, like I said before, but the boat was all set up, didn't miss a beat, so we were super happy.
It's a day, we finished. But to come first you got to finish, so unfortunately, yeah.
This is a race, you know, sometimes it's for 10 years.
It's a dream come true. Never in my 55 years and 35 years of racing offshore that I thought I would be racing against the Class 1 gentlemen.
Round 2 kicked off with the 37th annual Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix on southwest Florida's Gulf Coast. Sarasota County provided the quintessential white sand beach getaway with golden sunsets and a very vibrant social and artistic scene. The weekend kicked off with a block party sponsored by CMR Construction and Roofing as the behemoths assembled downtown for the traditional boat parade. As fans got a chance to see the boats up. Round 2 was the return of the legendary Travis Pastrana, a golden boy of extreme sports and multiple motocross champion. He joins Throttleman Steve Curtis in Husky Racing with a win under their belt.
Oh, it's great. I mean, we've got a lot of catching up to do, so practice is really important today in pole position, but I think we'll get back in the swing of things real fast.
I'm just really happy to be back, and Husky Chocolate's been absolutely dominating. They won the Indy 500 as well, so I'm going to try to step in and keep that going.
The course in Sarasota is a 9-pin oval throttle.
It's a pretty simple course. It's got some long sweeping bends, so it's a very technical course. You know, pretty much down to the driver to keep it up and flowing. So if we lose, it's Travis's fault.
All right.
If we win, it's me.
And that's probably accurate. Yes, that sounds good.
Since 2019, these Class 1 boats have been powered by twin-turbocharged 9-litre 1,100 horsepower Mercury V8 engines, which are designed to add a level of reliability while also cutting costs. Here's Stuart Halley, General Manager of Mercury Racing, talking about these engines.
To make the playing field level, what we do is we mechanically seal our engines, and then we also manage the ECUs to make sure that they're in factory-side conditions and nothing's been modified. That way, the teams can focus on hydrodynamic setup, and they have the benefit of a reliable engine based on a production engine, so they can really focus on test time. A lot of the race-specific engines would have finite lives, so the engines we have today really aid the teams in again, test time and setting up. That way it highlights the skill sets of the driver, throttleman, and the teams.
After the lottery draw on Cocoa Beach in round 1, round 2 offered a true qualifier to determine the starting lineup and which boat would take the coveted pole position. X Insurance went out early, finally putting their sleek red boat through its paces. Pratt and Jennings hungry for some action, but disaster struck just half a lap into their flying lap.
It looks like there's a hole in the bottom of the boat. I don't know, we were following LPC, Miles lost steering, so we came off the throttles, and the side of the boat ripped the steering out, the lines, and it just kind of exploded, and the dashboard broke apart and everything, so.
We might just forego pole.
The damage was too extensive to fix in time for the race, and so they were out again. Huge disappointment for Alex Pratt, as he was yet to get a single race lap in on the water. It was smooth sailing for Husky, however, as Curtis and Pastrana set the fastest lap time at 3 minutes 14 seconds. 222 Offshore Australia were 3 seconds off the pace at 3 minutes 17 seconds. JBS Racing ran into an electrical problem in qualifying, yet they got third fastest after Husky and 222 Offshore Australia. So Husky Racing took pole, Pastrana and Curtis with the best seats in the house.
So it's a couple of foot out there. It was enough that you couldn't, run it loose and hang it out, but you had to tuck it under, and it was a fine line between being tucked under and then trimmed out to get the speed. So, but it was all good. We're obviously really happy. The guys did a great job on the boat. So, yeah, everything's super.
Race day, with crowds gathering along Lido Beach and the VIP tent in anticipation of round 2. JBS Racing were putting their MTI boat in the water, but they encountered a problem.
We got delivered another issue this morning. Jeff, my driver's actually in the hospital, the owner, with kidney stones, so I've had to find a guy to sub in for me today. Kind of disheartening. I love being in the boat with Jeff, so our prayers are out to him.
Jeff Stevenson's place would be filled by Charlie McCarthy on driving duty. Teams awaiting the green flag rolling start as the boats lined up. The green flag goes up, the race was on. Great start from 222 Offshore Australia as they nudged ahead of the pole sitters. But Husky find their pace and begin to pull ahead down that opening straightaway. Husky Chocolate moved into the lead ahead of 222 Offshore Australia as Curtis found the balance and the speed they needed on the inside, but the waves were big and unpredictable. After taking a big hit, Husky lost power on one of their 1,100 horsepower Mercury engines. Sure enough, this put Darren Nicholson and Giovanni Carpitella in the lead. JBS Racing also passed Husky, Curtis and Pastrana dropping to third as they tried to get their engines fired back up. When Curtis and Pastrana finally managed to get the boat back up and running, they found themselves 35 seconds behind the race leaders, 222 Offshore Australia. Out in the lead, look at those waves, the boat bobbing and hopping as teams struggled to keep their noses down and those props in the water. And there's Husky. Curtis upping the pace as they made up the lost time and caught up with the lead boats. Husky was back in striking distance of JBS 2 laps later. Husky Chocolate was on the inside, JBS staying outside, and a great display of sportsmanship from JBS. Stancombe and McCarthy gave the lane to Husky. 222 Offshore Australia were next. Nicholson and Carpatella in their sights as Husky went on the warpath. By lap 6, the lead was cut even further. The two boats locked horns in a drag race, with Husky finding the clean water and the top speed on the outside that propelled them past the Aussie team. In third place, JBS Racing's bad luck in Sarasota continued as they suffered a mechanical issue and had to pull off the circuit. And so Husky Racing cruising in the lead, on track for yet another 20 points, making them clear favourites for the world title this year.
One of the coolest things ever. Steve always said he's like, oh, we can turn it up, we can turn it up. And we stalled at the beginning. So I looked over and said, now I'm gonna see what fast is like. And man, was it fast. Pretty cool, pretty freaking cool.
It was weird, wasn't it, that water? You get along and you can hang it and you go, oh, this is like a boom.
Bang, yeah.
We went off the gate, we got a great start, hit the right on the pin. We went off, it was running like a freight train, we hit really big waves, jumped up, but it all level and nice, came down, one engine shut down.
We have a couple of alarms and we wrong the setup. We don't understand it's rough like this outside, so we are too much light.
Charlie did an incredible job. I'm glad I picked him to come in the boat with me. I'll let him in there anytime.
The overall results after round 2. Husky Racing sit atop the world standings with 40 points, and on 27 points apiece are 222 Offshore Australia and JBS Racing. Class 1 Series headed to Michigan City, Indiana, for the first freshwater race of the season on the Great Lake of Michigan. This venue is famous for its rough seas and high winds, as the battle in the north was on, with multiple classes racing for an action-packed weekend. To kick things off, a boat parade where teams showed off their machines and riders met and mingled with fans as Michigan City turned out to greet the Class 1 fleet. Races down and 4 to go, it was critical for teams to rack up points. There were 4 boats racing in the Great Lake Michigan Grand Prix, the only major change being the new boat and number for 345 Racing X Insurance. After 2 breakdowns in 2 outings with no laps raced, Miles Jennings and Alex Pratt could finally look forward to some action in their new number 11 X Insurance Good Boy Vodka boat.
So we started the season with two unlucky races. Broke the boat both times, unfortunately. We actually purchased a new boat, put a team together in 30 days, record time. It's been an amazing boat. We're really looking forward to going around circles today.
Jeff Stevenson was back in the driver's seat for JBS Racing. The team owner fit and healthy and ready to race alongside Michael Stancombe on throttle. The circuit on Lake Michigan was a short sausage course with very tight turns, fresh water, and winds and waves expected. Teams filed out for the qualifying to see who would take the pole position race. Husky went out and, true to form, laid down a blistering lap of 2 minutes 03.67. 222 Offshore Australia off the pace with a time of 2 minutes 06.11. X Insurance were still to find the proper weight distribution or setup on their new boat.
We've arrived at the first race without any real testing, so we're not sure about weights or props or how it's going to work and handle.
X-Insurance Good Boy Vodka had a decent run without any mishaps, but they weren't fast enough to catch Husky Chocolate with a time of 2 minutes 13.11. Bad luck for JBS Racing. They did manage to get a lap in, but then had to retire with electrical issues that they'd been dealing with in the previous round. So Husky Chocolate with the best seat in the house ahead of the third race of the season. 222 Offshore Australia in P2, X-Insurance P3, and then JBS Racing fourth. Race day on Lake Michigan with conditions stormy and rough on the water. There was carnage in the wet pits as boats from previous races in other categories came back in, and the Class 1 teams scrambled to make last-minute setups ahead of the third race of the season.
It's picking up, and we've decided to make a change. Might be the right decision, might be the wrong decision, but you know, it's going pretty snotty out there, and the weather looks like it's staying in. So
It got real windy. They were so rough. They're flying.
I saw the condition is increasing. I watched the super stock racing, and it's going up and up and up. Last decision to reduce the ratio for have more grip and more acceleration.
We're kind of set up for a short, lumpy course. He's feeling good, I'm feeling good. Boat's running the way she should, so we're going to give it hell.
A break in the weather allows teams to get the boats out and into the lineup on tempestuous waters. The green flag goes up, the race was on. Great start from Husky Chocolate as Steve Curtis and Travis Pastrana start in pole with the inside lane advantage to the Commitment Boy. It's a very rough, very bumpy ride ahead for all teams. The Aussie boat has the speed as they catch up to Husky, and the two go neck and neck on the drag race to that first turn. Darren Nicholson and Giovanni Carpitella going all out. What a run from 222 Offshore Australia as they nudge ahead in very rough waves. Incredible speed in this duel between two of the best throttlemen in powerboat racing, Curtis versus Carpitella. In third place is X-Insurance. Jennings and Pratt finally on the water and in the race for the first time this year.
On the east side of the course.
Here they are at the first turn. 222 Offshore Australia gets there first, but they are on the outside while Husky has the inside lane advantage as they come around. And they get through to the back straight, still neck and neck. 222 Offshore Australia is not easing up on the pace. Can Husky Chocolate keep up with the blue and grey? The water's even heavier on the back straight, but Carpitella is not easing off on the throttle, keeping up that exceptional pace as 222 Offshore Australia finds its rhythm and outpaces Husky. Going in third, X-Insurance riding the bumpy waters, trying to keep that nose down and those props in the water. Oh, they nearly lose it. The nose goes up, but they make it back on the water. JBS Racing close behind X-Insurance as Stancombe and Stevenson try to move up into the top three. Meanwhile, Carpitella and Nicholson have opened their lead against Husky, but they know there is no time or room to ease off with 10 more laps to go out there on very rough, unrelenting waters. X-Insurance holds on to third, but they're getting a real beating out there, and they may have miscalculated the boat's weighting. Maybe too light on the front end as that nose keeps popping up. Meanwhile, JBS Racing just skipping over those waves, getting a good rhythm going as Stancombe and Stevenson pick up the pace and start moving up on X-Insurance. JBS Racing catches up with X-Insurance on the outside as Jennings and Pratt struggle to keep that nose down and that boat flat. X-Insurance is taking a lot of air on the edge of control, but Pratt and Jennings keep on keeping on. And look at JBS Racing on the outside, zipping past the struggling X-Insurance as Stancombe and Stevenson find the clear outside waters to take third place going into the turn. And sure enough, there's damage on the X-Insurance boat's rear starboard side. Out in the lead, Carpitella and Nicholson as 222 Offshore Australia solidify first place with some very smooth handling on what are very rough conditions. maintaining over 10 boat lengths on Curtis and Pastrana in the Husky Chocolate boat. Carpitella masterful in these conditions, very much a throttleman's race out there on Lake Michigan. But behind them, Curtis is known to feel the course out for the first few laps and then power past into the lead. Can 222 hold on for the remaining laps? The damage appears not to be holding Jennings and Pratt back as they find a rhythm, keep the nose down and get the pace to now move up and challenge JBS for third on the inside lane. And they do it! What a comeback from Pratt and Jennings. X-Insurance grabs third place on the inside going into that turn. Kudos to Pratt in his first ever Class 1 race as throttleman. X-Insurance almost goes over again, but they keep going in this never say die display. Meanwhile, the hard-charging 222 Offshore Australia reigns supreme. Coming up on the two back markers, about to lap JBS and X-Insurance. The Aussie boat speeds past JBS, catches X-Insurance. The two going around neck and neck. Will this slow 222's momentum, giving Husky an opportunity to close the gap? But it seems no bother to Nicholson and Carpitella as they glide past at full speed. Never skipping a beat, a flawless performance on the day from 222 Offshore Australia and a perfect setup. JBS Racing kept up the pressure on X-Insurance right to the end, but it was too much for the boat. Stancombe and Stevenson out of the race near the end. Carpitella and Nicholson's sublime performance paid off. They finished the race and stayed ahead of Husky to win their first race of the year. Husky runners-up using their 13-point world standings cushion to fight another day. And hats off to X-Insurance Good Boy Vodka, who despite the huge hits, finished the race and got themselves on the podium. A much-needed win for 222 Offshore Australia, which keeps their 2022 world title hopes alive as they take 20 points.
Bad towing. Bad towing. Yeah, I needed that.
At last! That's 3 in a row we've been in the lead, finally got one across the line.
We are long. We need to be more short in the propeller for power and playing up the waves. Like this we are on the waves. So, and I have to reverse the styling of throttling, completely reverse. Because I don't have the power to broke the waves. You know. That's good. Good race.
First straightaway we took off. Oh God, this is it. This is where it ends. That was great though. It was fun. Those guys, 222 had a good run. Good run, guys.
That was good. Felt that we were faster going up the beach and they were faster on the other leg. But we had a couple of Guardian modes come in and stuff like that. But hey, they did a fantastic race. We were happy, that we got a finish, got it home and stuff, and we're still leading the championship, and that's the main thing.
We needed a lot more weight up front. We had no trim left, so we just tried to do the best we could and finish. But we saw JBS pulling up, so we had to kind of get a little faster for a second there. But we were trimmed all the way in, dude, and it was still just not even close enough weight up front.
You must have felt that.
It was, Steve, I don't know if these boats are supposed to mount like this.
I think that was lots of people set up today.
Well, you don't come up. We came around that last turn and there was just a huge dip and we came way off of it and we had it no acceleration, but it just went, set it down and we just kept going, but we didn't realize half the boat was missing.
We knew at that point we couldn't catch for third. Obviously the handling of the boat wasn't good enough for that. But we wanted to make sure we stayed ahead of JBS. Of course, we're racing.
Yeah.
we weren't going to finish behind them.
Yeah.
So
which we did finish behind them,
we
right?
did, absolutely. But we weren't going to do that.
In the overall standings, 222 Offshore Australia cut their gap to 8 points behind Husky. That concludes the first half of the season review. See you in part 2 for round 4 in St. Petersburg, Florida, followed by the stunning conclusion in Clearwater, Florida. Then we'll take you to the sensational races at the standalone Offshore World Championships in Key West, Florida.
A lot of focus
you own a home or business, it might surprise you to see what is not covered in your insurance policy. There are gaps and exclusions in primary and umbrella policies that make you a target if an incident or claim occurs and you don't have the right coverage in place. And that's why you need a true umbrella policy from X Insurance. There are 40 million lawsuits filed every year in the USA. Let's get that target off your back.
A lot of focus with
It's the world's most prestigious powerboat racing series. The biggest, fastest, and most powerful machines on water, driven and throttled by a team of two, strapped into a fighter jet canopy, taking on the ocean and each other in a battle of guts, speed, and stamina. This is Class 1. 5-ton catamarans with twin turbocharged 1,100 horsepower inboard V8 engines, reaching speeds of up to 210 kilometers per hour in rough offshore conditions where the slightest mistake could be your last. Promoted by P1 Offshore and sanctioned by the World Powerboat Governing Body, the UIM, and the American Powerboat Association, the APBA, the Class 1 World Powerboat Championship is back on the calendar with multiple races announced in 2022. As past masters and legends of the sport are joined by young blood and fresh faces, all keen to bring the thrill and passion of Class 1 back to international audiences in a sport with a history that goes back nearly 70 years to the first World Championship in 1964. The 2022 season kicked off with thunder on Cocoa Beach in Florida's beautiful Space Coast. Just an hour's drive from Orlando, here you'll find a vibrant bar and restaurant scene, glorious sunshine, miles of sandy beaches, and of course, stunning ocean views. Multiple classes were raced, including the Superstock and Supercats, in a powerboat celebration that went the entire weekend. Included parties, concerts, and some of the best powerboat racing on the planet, and the return of Class 1 was made possible by this man.
So here we are in Cocoa Beach for the inaugural round of the 2022 UIM World Championship Class 1 event. This is the first international Class 1 event, literally since 2015. It's been a long time coming. In 2020, we negotiated the rights. We have the rights now for the next 10 years. This is technically year 0. So actually there's going to be 11 years of Class 1 racing, and I think many more. So we're excited. This is the first one. This is it. And it's only up from here.
Class 1 demands the most experienced and steely-nerved powerboat racers. One driver and one throttle man who work as a team in perhaps one of the most physically and mentally challenging conditions of any sport. Cockpits are cramped and often very hot. The speeds are above 100 miles an hour over big sea swells and treacherous waves on open offshore waters, with the pilots taking a beating inside. There were 5 teams competing at Cocoa Beach, with both fresh and familiar faces on hand. No doubt the most familiar being the legendary Steve Curtis, the most successful Class 1 pilot in history. Curtis' last Class 1 win came in 2019, when he partnered with James Shepard in Miss Geico. Honoured by the Queen with an MBE, Steve Curtis is a truly exceptional racer, with 8 Class 1 World Championship titles to his name, and holds the record for being the youngest Class 1 throttleman to ever win a title at the tender age of 21 in 1985. Curtis's old Miss Geico team is now rebranded as the number 21 Husky Racing Husky Chocolate Boat. He joins up with driver Britt Lilly for the race off Cocoa Beach.
Well, I've got today I got Britt Lilly, he's a fantastic driver, second generation. You know, Britt was born in a boat, so he's a fantastic driver, natural driver.
Then I got Travis Pastrana, who's just a lunatic, and just will, you know, he doesn't care. You can push it as hard as you like. What happens, happens. So I got two very good drivers. We got Travis after this race, and probably for the rest of the season. It'd be nice to knock up my 9th title. So yeah, that's what we're going for. You know, we've got a fantastic team, good bunch of guys.
Another multiple Class 1 champion is Miles Jennings of the UK, a 5-time world and 12-time British champion who has been racing since the 1970s. One of Jennings' most memorable wins in Class 1 came in Race 2 in Terracina, Italy in 2013, where he won with driver Alfredo Amato in Fendi 8. Driver Miles Jennings shares the cockpit with 27-year-old throttleman Alex Pratt, founder and face of Good Boy Vodka in the 345 Racing's ex-insurance boat.
I'm Alex Pratt, and I throttle for boat 345, and we just showed up here at the races, and we're excited to get started. We practiced yesterday, all went pretty good, and we're going to train again tomorrow and kind of get the boat dialed in the rest of the way.
We only met last week.
Yeah, met on Tuesday, and we're going 140 miles an hour yesterday together. And no screaming or fist pumping yet, so we're good.
Yeah, that's great. Though Alex has had a lot of time in, not necessarily with racing bikes before, but obviously he has a lot of big boats as well, fast boats, turbines and so on. So he's pretty familiar with these kind of things. So he's just fitting straight in with us, which is great. So yeah, I think it's going to work really well as a team.
There are not one, but two experienced racers for 222 offshore Australia. The legendary Italian throttleman with countless titles and podiums to his name, Giovanni Carpitella, and veteran Australian driver Darren Nicholson. A pair with a combined experience of almost a century, and they were sure to be a force to be reckoned with come race day.
We started our new program here in the US in 2019 with this boat. We do all the championship here. And we finished second just for 1 point, but anyway, it was good, it was a very nice experience.
We've got new partners, Australian Navy, so that's good, but it's the same noise in the back, the Mercury's 1100, which are excellent, and it's really just tweaking those little things now to make sure we don't have too many bugs. We've been laid up for 2.5 years, and it'll probably be a 20-cent part that's having a holiday.
222 offshore were second in the 2019 championship by 1 point and hungry for a win here. Racing an MTI boat was number 16 JBS Racing, the All-American team that boasts Michael Stancombe on throttle and Jeff Stevenson behind the wheel.
I started about 10 years ago when I sold all my turbine stuff, and we came up with this idea with the more cylinders, the same big power but less power per cylinder to make it more reliable, less fatigue, less heat, less wear.
Jeff and I became friends and acquaintances back in the Donzi days. Just seemed to gel really well together. Had a good time. There's a lot of smiles in the cockpit and learning the boat, learning each other, and we got a shot. Yeah, we're the underdog. We don't have experience of running Class 1 like Steve Curtis or Miles Jennings, but we have our own talent. We're born and bred, and watch out. There's a couple talented guys coming up after everybody.
Rounding out the field is number 77 Lucas Oil Satcom Direct E3, which boasts a wealth of experience with British ace Nigel Hook on throttle, alongside American Jay Johnson as driver, trading in their V-hull from 2019 for a catamaran this season, in their Mystic-built boat.
The catamaran's very different than the V-bottom, but we're still getting used to it. But they're both amazing. It just depends on the water. It's nice having both. We can pick and choose which one we want to run.
So no, this is a perfect venue to kick it off, and yeah, it's be our first seasonal race, you could say, in this catamaran, the 77 Lucas Oil. We call it J Hook. J Hook.
The big news in Class 1 is the use of twin-turbocharged 9-litre 1,100 horsepower Mercury V8 engines, which are expected to add a level of reliability whilst also cutting down costs.
The new engines have been adopted by all teams in Class 1, with the exception of JBS Racing. The circuit for Thunder on Cocoa Beach runs along the shore, which gives fans the opportunity to experience the thrill of seeing these boats up close along the entire circuit.
It's a 7.5 mile lap with a 3.5 mile straightaway and a sort of quarter mile in each of the turns. And a slight dog leg on the outward leg running in a clockwise direction. So it'd be great for the fans to watch. And a good fun race for us as well. You know, should be some fast, exciting racing. Cocoa Beach here always throws in a few surprises. Conditions are never flat, even when they say it's calm. Always, you know, the Gulf Stream is so close here that it gives an underlying swell, which is always difficult to predict and work with. So you know, getting the right setup is always quite difficult here.
Local organisers put on a great show before race day for fans and teams alike. First Class 1 race of the 2022 season was underway. Teams worked on gear and prop setups right to the last few minutes before the race as they assessed changing water and weather conditions. The pole position lineup was determined by a random draw. JBS Racing drew the coveted top spot. 77 Lucas Oil boat drew P2 on the starting lineup.
You know, go as fast as we can, get the checkered flag before someone else does. That's the strategy. We'll see, you know, it's hard to tell what the conditions are going to be. It seems to be getting a little lighter now, right? It was roughed up a little bit this morning, but having watched the last race, seems like it's laying down a little bit. So hopefully we got the right prop choice. We'll see very shortly.
The 345 Racing X-Insurance team were working on their drive shaft in the morning, hustling to get their boat ready in time. In their first ever outing, the new pairing of Miles Jennings and Alex Pratt were keen to get out on the water and make a mark in the first race of the year.
We drew third on the pole, so we're right in the middle. So we're going to make sure we don't get squeezed at the start and try and get to the first turn first. See how we get on.
Yeah, that's the plan. We got some aggressive gearing, so we want to get up front.
To the left of X-Insurance would be Husky Racing.
Yeah, we're right on the outside, so we got 222s outside us. So yeah, it's not great, but you know, it's a rough race, so it doesn't matter so much in these conditions. So we're just going to get in, feel it all out, see how everyone else is running, and then, so, you know, we've got 8 laps out there, so we, you know, probably look at doing something on lap 4 or 5.
On the very outside with perhaps the toughest starting position was 222 offshore Australia, with a tough start ahead of them.
We started for the last. We dropped the last number of the grid, so we are the last. It's always something to do hard, you know?
As drivers entered their cockpits and finished final preparations, teams also had a chance to gauge the conditions during the Superstock race that preceded Class 1. Get a sense of what was in store for them on the circuit that is notoriously rough and unforgiving.
It hurts so bad, and it's like bang, 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 3 in a row, you know? Pain, just pure pain.
Race time as the boats made their way from the wet pits and out into the circuit for the 8-lap race on the 7.5 mile circuit for a total racing distance of 60 miles. Crowds lined the shores in anticipation of the first UIM APBA Class 1 World Championship race of 2022, as drivers and throttlemen got their first taste of the challenge ahead as they went into their parade lap to greet crowds, familiarise themselves with the course, warm their engines and get some speed into the rolling start off Cocoa Beach. But that does not sound or look good for 345 Racing as X-Insurance boat slows and then stops on its way out into the circuit. It looks like they won't make it into the race. after the parade lap, the boats line up for the start. As soon as they pass the start-finish line, the race will be on. JBS in pole position has the inside lane advantage. Great luck of the draw, but can they hold on? Boats lining up, seconds to go before the green flag. Green flag and the race begins. The boats floor it. 2,200 horsepower in a drag race to the commitment buoy. 222 Offshore Australia may have jumped the start, which may mean they'll receive a 30-second post-race penalty. With X-Insurance unable to start, the reduced fleet of 4 boats pound through the waves on the long beach straightaway for the first of 8 laps. 21 Husky Racing is trailing as 222 Offshore Australia charge ahead to lead the field from the get-go. Behind Nicholson and Carpitella in the lead boat is Husky Chocolate in second, with a battle for third between the number 16 JBS Racing and number 77 Lucas Oil Satcom Direct E3. And we can see from that beach shot the lead that 222 Offshore Australia has opened with Husky Racing. Nicholson and Carpitella going hard and fast from the start, but keep in mind the post-race 30-second penalty they might have incurred. Looking for the JBS Racing on board, Nigel Hook and Jay Johnson of Lucas Oil are pulling away in third, as Jeff Stevenson and Michael Stancombe in the JBS boat trail in fourth. But the team to catch now is Giovanni Carpitella and Darren Nicholson in the lead boat, 222 Offshore Australia, as they thunder down the circuit with crowds watching on from Cocoa Beach. And as we watch on from the front on board, 222 Offshore Australia are first to the commitment buoy, the first turn of this race. But it's a big turn and 222 Offshore Australia is on the outside as Steve Curtis and Britt Lilly of Husky Racing take advantage to close the gap and see if they can't sneak through on the inside. But Carpitella and Nicholson hold off the Husky challenge, holding on to their lead as they round the turn and enter the eastern straightaway to do the dogleg turn on the other end of the circuit. 77 Lucas Oil is in third position. Hook and Johnson get round the turn without any hiccups, followed by 16 JBS Racing in fourth. It's a very good start for the Husky pairing, which is only temporary. Britt Lilly only in the seat for this first race. But they're working together well as a team, and Lilly had actually raced in the Stock V earlier, jumping out of one boat and into the other. Meanwhile, out in the lead, look at that speed on 222 Offshore Australia, as Nicholson and Carpitella take full command of the race. A very experienced team who have seen and raced it all, and they are masterfully negotiating these conditions and this circuit. Eastern straightaway behind them, 222 Offshore Australia approaches the dogleg and the yellow right-hander. The conditions shift depending on the direction of the boats. Drivers negotiating the waves from every direction on this circuit, constantly adapting. But the heavier and longer Class 1 boats are certainly having a better and easier time of it than the lighter stock and super stock boats that preceded them. And just look at what those waves and bumps feel like in the cockpit. Drivers really getting a beatdown lap after lap. Very rough on the body at these speeds. Lucas Oil Satcom Direct E3 in third, going strong with their 2011 built Mystic catamaran that is negotiating these conditions nice and smoothly with its 52-foot length hull. JBS only have a 42-foot boat, one of the shortest in this field, and they take a heavier pounding in the waves. 222 Offshore Australia is going from strength to strength as they open their lead further, seemingly relishing these rough conditions and thriving out on the open waters as they no doubt keep one eye on Husky Chocolate behind them in lap 2. While Steve Curtis is known to bide his time and get a few laps in before pushing hard, the gap here between Husky and Offshore Australia has more to do with the excellent racing so far and pace of Carpitella and Nicholson than it has to do with any strategy on Husky Racing's part. Lucas Oil Satcom Direct E3.
What are you trying to get? my Class 1 details.
Welcome back to the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec, live from beautiful Cocoa Beach, Florida on the Atlantic Ocean. I am Mike Uwaski, joined by Mark Granite. Thunder on Cocoa Beach Offshore Race would like to thank Keltec for all their support. Keltec designs firearms right here in Brevard County, Florida, that are innovative in design and exciting to use. Look for them at your favorite arms dealer. Of course, got to give a shout out to our newest sponsor and official energy drink of P1 Offshore Racing and Class 1, Monster Energy. And you'll see the Monster Mile out here in the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Sea Ray Boats. Sea Ray Boats, the official pace boat for the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. And, of course, thanks to Butt Racks, CMR Roofing and Construction, Cape Marina, X Insurance. Visit spacecoast.com, Good Boy Vodka, Wallace Air Conditioning and Heating, Mercury Racing, JT Social Bar, located inside the Cocoa Beach La Quinta Inn, Bale Brothers Cranes and Rigging, Coconuts on the Beach, Sandbar Sports Bar and Grill, Cocoa Beach Fish Camp, Golf and Gator, Direct Graphics, Controls on Demand, Boat and Motor Superstore, and AmVet Concrete Coating, your sponsors for the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. All right, Mark Granite, we are going to do some qualifying now for Class 1. This will determine the start positions tomorrow for the Class 1 race. Mark Granite, of course, a lot of experience in Class 1 and unlimited racing with Miss Geico, DF Young. He even ran a super stock back in the day, Lone Shark.
Yep. So Class 1 is about to do qualifying. What is qualifying? Qualifying is a timed event to help set the starting order for tomorrow's big race. All right? Class 1, remember, is a Mercury Racing 1,100 horsepower QC4V engine. So every boat out there is running the same engine. They're catamarans between 37 and 47 feet long. They run on 93 octane fuel, and they've got a minimum weight of 9,500 pounds. So what all this does is it tries to keep the playing field equal. It comes down to tuning, testing, spending time figuring out what the setup is. But there's more to it than that, Mike. What these teams have to do on each course is also set up for acceleration and top end. So depending on the course, they have to make changes to their gearing and propellers.
Yep.
And hopefully they get the right one, the one that will allow you to hit the right number of the right speed as you're making it around this course here. As you can see, they're going around this course here through the Monster Mile and through turn 1, 2, the dog leg, 3, 4, and to the finished. So they have 2 laps that they're able to make. And that is for their qualifying order. Mike?
So qualifying order first, we're going to have DF Young is going to be first. Pothole Heroes qualified number 2. 222 Offshore third. MCon Monster Energy qualifying 4th. Husky Spritz Ice qualifying 5th. And DeFalco qualifying 6th. Qualifying is going to work by running 2 official laps. They will start at buoy number 6 on your course map you just saw a couple of seconds ago. They'll start at buoy number 6. They will come out. Their time will begin when they cross the start line. They'll run up past the Monster Mile up into the first turn. Around the first turn, back down the dog leg, all the way around, complete 1 lap. Then they will do another full lap, come around, complete the 2nd lap. That will end their qualifying session. It was announced this morning in Class 1 that they will get a bonus lap. A bonus lap is going to be, if you don't like your first 2 laps, once you get your recorded time, you can go run 1 more lap to see if you can improve upon that. And, of course, this is to pick the starting grid for tomorrow with Class 1. Supercat was supposed to qualify today as well. They voted it out because of wear and tear on the equipment. Obviously, out here in the ocean, much different conditions, beating around, thrashing the equipment. But I think since our last race, Class 5, 6, and 7, which happened just a few minutes ago, or about an hour or so ago, not just a few minutes. I actually think it's calmed down a little bit, Mark. The swell has kind of flattened out a little bit. Ground swell is not as steep as what it was. I think we'll see some good speeds and some good lap times out of these Class 1 boats.
Yeah, I think the storms have kind of held off now out to the west. So you wonder, with that extra or bonus lap, why wouldn't anybody just take it, right? Well, there is that thought, hey, let me just do another lap to see how fast I can go. But there's also the theory that it's more time, more wear and tear on the boat prior to a big race, right? Do I push it? If everything feels good and it felt good in the right laps and the boat is right, you want to save it. That last lap, something could go wrong, and it would have been that last qualifying hard lap that you put on the boat that did it. So
We've mentioned the Monster Mile a couple of times. There's 2 black buoys in the middle, of course. That's called the Monster Mile. We are working on a promotion that'll come out hopefully a little bit later in the year where we will have a timing system between these 2 buoys, and the fastest boat between the 2 buoys, of course, will receive an award of some sort. Can't clarify that is with thanks to Monster Energy Drink, the official energy drink, of P1 Offshore.
I like that. It's getting creative. It's adding another component to these races where an individual or a boat that may not be able to take a podium finish but has the ability to set a fast lap speed. Remember, all of these boats are, for the most part, equal, right? Varying lengths, but from a weight perspective, from a power perspective, they all are equal. And that means that any boat has a chance at winning that Monster Mile, just as any boat out here really has a shot at taking the checkered flags.
Well, as we talk about Monster, let's talk about the elephant in the room, we'll call it, and that's the brand new Skater, MCon Monster Energy Drink, a brand new Class 1 boat. Tyler Miller and Myrick Coyle. Of course, you know them from their MCon Supercat boat. They have stepped up into Class 1, built a brand new boat. I can tell you this boat has been in the water for all of about 20 minutes. It did a run up Lake Ozarks and back down Lake of the Ozarks, and then it got put on the trailer and hauled down here. So when they came out, I think they maybe got to test a little bit this morning. But, Mark, we were standing outside of our balcony here on the beach, and we saw them kind of run down, and you expressed that, hey, they're starting to open it up a little bit. They've got a lot to figure out, a short learning curve, a rudder boat, BPM surface drives, handles completely different than a 6-boat, turns different, flies different, does everything different, and they're going to have to get it out and try and qualify. I kind of figured is those guys are able to take the start tomorrow, be able to run a couple of laps, run up with the guys, kind of figure out what they're doing. That'll be considered a win for them, considering that boat literally just finished 3 days ago.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Mike and I were fortunate this morning to be able to jump on the new boat and kind of crawl around it a little bit, take a look at the setup, take a look at the cockpit. It's a gorgeous piece. They've done everything right. But listen, anybody who's been in this sport for any amount of time knows it takes a year to get one of these boats together. And some of these boats on the course have had in upwards of 15, 20 years of tuning and finding the fastest thing.
Yep.
So this is probably the first real rudder boat that Skater has put out in quite a while.
Yep.
From a racing perspective, I know there was a couple of poker run boats that were out there. So they not only have to get through the hurdle from a mechanical and a technical aspect, right, getting everything to work at full speed all the time, right, for 45 minutes. That's not a small task.
Nope, not by any means.
As well as that is beginning to find what the balance of the boat and what feels best and where the real speed is. And they just haven't had the time to do that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that they can't run up. You've got some straightaways and doing that, but getting in and from a number 6 boat to a rudder boat is a big challenge. And they're going to have to learn how the boat reacts into turns, at what speeds that you can go into turns, that you can trust the boat. Remember, it's not only trusting your throttle man. The fastest teams trust their boats and trust their rigging and their stuff inherently. They know they can put it into any turn and it's going to deliver a specific result. So I think you're right. You nailed it on the head. A big win for these guys is to make all their laps today, get out, learn, get data, and learn.
Yep. So our first boat, of course, going to run. All right, looks like we have some, just getting an update for race control. Got a couple of spectator boats that look like they might have drifted down into the course, so we're looking to get those moved out of the way before we start this Class 1 qualifying. Let's talk about our first boat, boat number 17, D.F. Young, a 50-foot Mystic. Rich Wyatt, team owner and throttleman, and Hugh Fuller, the driver. Mark, he kind of fell into your seat there a little bit. Not fell into it. That's the wrong way to look at it. But Hugh Fuller now in the driver's seat. Of course, Mark Granite ran that boat. It was grandfathered in last year with the blower motors, but now they have re-rigged it, put the Class 1 Mercury 1100 engine package in it, and here they are. They're going to be our first qualifying boat. I talked to Gary Stray earlier today. This is the biggest boat in the class, the 50-foot Mystic, undoubtedly the biggest boat. But Gary Stray told me straight up, because that boat could be really fast. You know, that was one of the lighter ones built.
Right. Once again, the boat itself, I've got quite a bit of time in that boat. We've won some championships in that boat. The boat itself is the same weight as the other boats in the class, right? It's actually lighter. They have to add weight to that boat to make the class. It's got the right size tunnel. It's got now the ideal power in it, the turbocharged Mercury 1100 engines. this new season, it has a new gearbox in it, new interchangeable gearboxes. So this is new for Rich. Rich has run with Hugh Fuller for years in the past, so they're an experienced team together. They haven't run in several years together, so this will be kind of the first time of those two being in the boat together for an event. So they're getting used to each other as well for this first event here. So this boat as well has got a bit of a learning curve to come up. You definitely don't. These guys are smart enough not to go into an event full steam, running the edge with new equipment and new setup.
But they have a lot of strength behind them. In fact, Herb Stotler put the boat together. He built the original engine of this boat. The Rich Wyatt and the DF Young team, even when they were known as a couple different names over the years, they've been with Herb Stotler almost since the start of their career, from their Fountain to their Platinum, now to their Mystic. They have a great relationship with Herb Stotler, so a lot of trust there. But they also brought Jerry Gilbreth in to help kind of manage the team and get things organized and structure things so they can be competitive in Class 1. And the experience that Jerry Gilbreth brings to the team is amazing.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with Jerry. Herbie Stotler is, he is so meticulous when he puts a boat together. I got to tell you, there are very few guys that can put a boat together and put it in the water like we did last year at St. Pete that had never been run and not have something going. We were able to put that boat in there, literally started it for the first time, and were able to go and run qualifying laps.
And there may have been some cobwebs that fell down in front of your face there.
There was definitely some things.
It sat for a little while before it made it out to St. Pete, for sure. Yep.
I think I found my gloves from the last race down the side of the thing. But the point I'm making is that he's meticulous when he prepares a boat. And Herbie is tremendous at that. He really, he is just a thorough crew chief that knows what he's doing. He does take his time to do it, but when he does it right. So I'm confident that the boat will run right. I think these first two laps here, with this new crew together again, is going to be getting to know each other. So I don't think you'll see them push quite as hard as I know the boat is capable of doing. I think they're going to get out there, pace themselves, try and set a good lap down so they're in the middle of the pack, not on the outside, and put a good show on. I'll know as soon as that boat begins to run where it is.
Yep, and as we mentioned before, we are in a delay position because some spectator boats, I believe, have drifted onto the course. So we are going to wait for those boats to get cleared, and then we will be qualifying. They'll start at buoy number 6, which is on the south end. It's just past the dogleg. They'll go around that. They'll go all the way around the south turn, and they will start coming north past the Monster Mile and the start-finish line. That will begin their first lap. They will complete 2 full laps, and then they will have the choice once they hear their times from both laps to go in or do their bonus lap, and we'll see how that ends up for each one of these teams. Of course, we will bring you the times live from Timing and Scoring, located out there in the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. They will be sending over the information as soon as they have it.
One of the things you'll notice on the...
And I have to make a comment. Hold on. As I look at my picture of my book here of DF Young, I used to love the engine hatches with the tractor pipes, but man, it's a sleek looking girl now with that deck that goes all the way down the back and just follows the line.
Yeah.
The Mystic has always been just a fantastic looking boat to me, and obviously you and I have experience together. You and I have experience together. Mystic days, back in 2000 and that was what, 2007? No, 2007,
8,
9,
10.
Of course, Miss Geico used to be the turbine-powered Mystic, and then JBS had a Mystic. When was this Mystic built in relation to the JBS Mystic?
2009.
2009.
So it was built in 2009.
So this is one of the last ones built, because Envy was built after this, or what's now Lucas Oil.
Yeah, there was a couple of them that were built afterwards. They've shifted off to various areas there. But I was just going to note about the scoops being gone.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we were down on a little bit of power as we were out there against some of the other boats. But if you notice, you remember those big, beautiful, nasty scoops out there, but they were flat in the front. So you basically had two kind of 1 foot or 1.5 foot by 1 foot squares that were staying up, and
like air dams, like flaps on a NASCAR.
That aerodynamically, they were terrible for us.
And they were as tall as the cockpit. Even if you look at the picture, they were almost as tall as the cockpit. So.
It looked cool, right?
Oh,
from a thing. But now that sleek look, they've added some NACA ducts to it. They still have to kind of fare them all in properly, but now those NACA ducts are ducted down to the base of the engine. So that means even if they do take a wash down, unlike the way it was previously where it went right into the engine compartment, now it'll go down into the bilge. the engines will still be able to take the air that they want out of that environment. So it won't find itself in trouble should it get in. And with this many boats on the course, especially when you're mixed up with big boats and a lot of competition, this happens. All right, looks like DF Young
getting up onto plane. They're going to come around buoy number 6 and start their qualifying laps here. Thunder on Cocoa Beach 2023, presented by Keltec, the 50-foot Mystic DF Young. Rich Wyatt, Herb Stotler going to set the bar for qualifying. Let's see how they can do. Beautiful 50-foot Mystic, go around buoy number 6. Now, these are completely different engines. You talk about being a twin-turbo setup, no more instant power like you get with a blower. You know, just like you hear how the race cars, they now have to spool up. These motors are the same way. Steve Curtis always talked about having to throttle these boats almost more like a turbine boat, or turbine boat rather, because it doesn't create that instant power. You have to keep it up into an RPM range. Steve Curtis actually throttles the Husky Spritz boat by the boost gauges.
Yeah, you're in the boost. You got to stay in the boost with these motors. And Richie's getting used to that. He likes the feeling. He called me after the test and he said, man, these things really, really roll. And as you can see, he's going to. Now, this water, although it does look flat out there, there is a bit of a chop out there. A boat this size is not going to react to that little bit of water. So he should have a good, fast run here.
But this is good water for him. This is
really, really good water for this boat.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what he's going to do here. He's going to start it, as soon as he gets the speed up here, he's going to start tucking those drives down. He's going to set that boat and allow the compression of the hull to hold the bow up out of the water. And you should see it just dance on the back of the transom. As you can see it right now, he's getting there.
Yep, good shot down the tunnel. Expected it to be a little bit more flighty as they enter the Monster Mile.
He
just saw that really run behind them.
No, there's a swell there. Look, guys,
Yeah,
you can see as he's coming through it. But he really, really has that boat set perfectly right now. I knew he was going to do that.
This will begin the qualifying lap as he crosses the start line. So he'll go complete one full lap, come around, complete his second lap, and we will bring you his official time. Class 1 qualifying, Thunder on Cocoa Beach, underway 2023.
Hammers down.
DF Young spooled up and ready to go as they head down towards the north turn. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. You could say buoy 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That was a nice run. He was still conservative on it. He was definitely on there. He was way up there on RPMs. He did a little bit of throttling coming through there, but he's still keeping it pretty tight right now.
Run about midline there.
Into the first turn.
Yep, didn't run it really too tight into the corner, kind of going through the middle of the corner. They'll change that maybe on their second lap. Of course, Herb Stotler probably on the radio going to tell them their time, maybe give them some advice as to what they can do different. But look how much the course is changing right there between all of those buoys. You can see some much bigger hops.
Yep.
That groundswell really kicking up. You know, that's where it really gets you in the turns. But this 50-foot Mystic should span right across the top of it.
And I think this next event, or the next turns, as he starts to keep the boat into the boost in those turns. Remember, these are the first turns that the boat is making with the new power.
Yep.
So once again, he's feeling out, hey, where do I need to be in this boat? He's a quick learner, so he'll come up to speed with it pretty quickly. As you can see, he's still building up speed there.
You can see the drives get tucked in. The rooster tail went down, meaning he accelerated where he wanted to.
There he goes. He's starting to get into the meat of it now.
Now, that boat doesn't have a tunnel tab, or it does?
It does, but they're locked up.
They're locked up. Okay, so he's not running an adjustable tunnel tab. Some boats will be today. MCON, the Monster Energy MCON boat, will have a tunnel tab on it, that skater hull.
The boat's set perfectly for this water. It's set perfectly for this water. He's not going to allow it to fly away a little bit. He's still a little tight.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a little bit more conservative on the setup. But again, this is his first lap, first time running the boat in these type of conditions. So maybe, like you said, a little bit more conservative as they will run down through the dog leg.
There's
the
putting
yellow
a little bit into it, and he's going to do a straight shot now to this outer turn. And I think, especially with these swells, you want to turn sharp and go straight, and turn sharp and go straight. You try and swing it a little bit and slide it, and you could run into trouble by catching an edge and flopping it over.
So as we look at DF Young, Pothole Heroes, boat number 022 will now take to the course as DF Young comes around the south end turn, and this will complete their first qualifying lap. So Pothole Heroes 022 now starting their qualifying lap.
Now
there they are.
Pothole Heroes is a 44 Victory hull.
Yep.
This is actually my old Miss Geico boat.
Carlos de Quesada and Johnny Tomlinson running this Pothole Heroes 022 boat, former Class 1 boat.
Yep. This boat, ironically,
when I say Class 1, I meant the older.
It was a
version of
Class 1.
Yep.
It was an old Class 1 boat. It raced in Australia. This boat, believe it or not, has a longer running surface than that Mystic by 3 inches. This boat can go through anything, just like the Mystic. This kind of, while it looks like flat water, but a little bit of chop, is ideal. It has an incredible ability to carry through water like this with little disruption.
Of course, Carlos, a very, very famous sports car driver, a lot of experience on the asphalt, switching over last year in 2022 to offshore powerboat racing and got into the cockpit with undoubtedly one of the best, if not the best throttleman in the industry, Johnny Tomlinson, JT, as we refer him to, as they are on their first qualifying lap.
Yeah,
DF Young is coming around to complete their first lap. And we will get a time sent over to us. We'll bring that to you as soon as it comes to us. But this will complete
now
DF
you can
Young.
see he's starting to loosen it up a little bit.
Well, and you can hear the RPMs
yeah. Now
too.
he's got the RPMs up. Now Richie's feeling a little more comfortable. And look at that boat go. Look at the boat go.
Looks good. Sounds good.
He's in it now.
Yep.
He's in it now.
So let's see what his time is for lap number 1. So DF Young on the course and 022 Pothole Heroes qualifying right now for Class 1. Of course, Pothole Heroes is a pothole repair company. Learned this in
DF Young with a
Husky hauler this morning.
DF Young with a 3:45.23 on that first lap. So they're going to be set the pace. Now we'll begin to see how these other boats are running there. I think they're taking flyers on that turn. That is.
Yep, it looks like they ran the same line, a middle line through that corner. So maybe they were happy with the turn, but on the straightaways they're going to let it go a little bit more.
Yeah, look at this. Look, he's
big hop though. That's a big hop there. Set it down the corner, kind of tripping it there just a little bit. That's going to scrub a lot of speed going through the corner. They're going to want to get that figured out. No ballast on this boat though, correct?
No ballast on the boat. They got themselves 2 weight. They got the right amount of fuel in the boat, so. This next straightaway here, he's going to be in it. But you can see he was in it as he went off those little flyers, which means he's staying in the boost in the turn.
Right. And you talked about the bonus lap and how important the bonus lap is going to be. Well, everybody had to think about fuel for that bonus lap, okay? If you want to run bonus lap, you're going to have to put extra fuel in the boat. If you want to do, that's going to maybe slow you down a little bit. So, again, kind of a mind game going into this with the bonus lap here in qualifying for Class 1. Here comes 022 Pothole Heroes, Carlos and Johnny, running that victory hull. They will come around and complete their first lap.
Now, Carlos hadn't been in the boat. I think he's starting to get back into it. So these guys they made a bunch of changes to this boat as well. So this boat is kind of fresh on the course. The Cocoa Beach race is generally viewed as a race that you're just starting to kind of get out there and feel. Usually it's one of the hardest races of the year. You kind of learn everything. But let's see how Johnny looks.
The breeze from our balcony is laying down a little bit, though. It was stronger in our earlier races. This is Class 1 qualifying, coming to you live from Cocoa Beach, Florida. After this, we are going to have the Super Stock race, and that will wrap up our competition on the first day.
Pothole Heroes should be coming through the start-finish here. We'll get a lap speed on that qualifying lap here in just one moment.
And as you said, the bar has been set by DF Young.
Plus 1, so Allegra Motorsports Pothole Heroes is a 346.
And we'll say a 345. Right now, it looks like Pothole Heroes is going to be about a 346, maybe a 347.
346, yeah.
So they're about a second off of what DF Young. So right now, if it were to stop as it was, DF Young would have the pole, and Pothole Heroes would be in second. So as DF Young exits the corner,
let's see how
he starts to head north. 222 offshore, Australia offshore will start there.
All right, he's in it now. He's back in the throttles. He's going to loosen it up, and he's going to shoot now for this finish. I'd expect to see DF Young really push it right now.
He's going to push it.
Absolutely.
Now, the second off that Pothole Heroes that would make me think, man, a little more conservative on that first lap, getting a feel for it. Maybe now Johnny and Carlos will stretch it out just a little bit
Smart
more.
racer. You got Johnny Tomlinson in there, is arguably the most accomplished offshore racer on the planet. You know, the amount of championships he's won, the amount of races and different boats that he's won. Not only that, just a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's for somebody to be that competitive, that experienced, and still.
Look at DF Young, though. He's trimmed up now. He is hammered down.
All in it. You can see now he's got the bow up.
Yep. So he made that last straightaway charge. Let's see. He came across at a 3:39.77, it looks like.
Yeah, so he wiped off about 5 seconds off that
lap.
That's not bad.
That's
5
not
seconds
bad.
is fantastic. That's a lifetime on a race course.
Let's see what Pothole Heroes, boat number 022, can do now. 222 Australia Offshore should be coming up on a plane. Actually, they'll wait for Pothole Heroes to go by.
Yeah, well, Pothole Heroes, if you kind of take a look at him now, Johnny seems to be loosening the boat up. He's got a good set pace going on the thing.
So Pothole Heroes will go into the dog leg. They'll jog back to the left, and then they will head into the south turn. That is buoy number 6 they're heading towards. So when Pothole Heroes goes by, then 222 Australia Offshore will start. And they should be kind of sitting right over there by that buoy number 6. As D.F. Young, so Mark, D.F. Young has exited the course on the north side up towards Port Canaveral, so they are definitely done. It doesn't look like they're going to take their bonus lap. They're going to take their 3:39.77 time and take it back to the crane and get out of the water, get the boat cleaned up, and be ready for the race tomorrow. It's Pothole Heroes. This is going to complete their first qualifying lap. Apologies, 222 Offshore Australia. Appreciate the update there. Yep.
All right, here
Looks
they
like
come.
222 Offshore Australia.
Still seems like Johnny's being a bit conservative out there.
A little bit.
Listen, it's not race day. They are getting out there in the boat for the first time.
Well, he would have had about
Feels
6 seconds to make up because he was a second behind them. Let's see what they come across at.
It's just a lot of hole in the water there. There we go.
So they'll start to get the boat
There
trimmed
he
up
goes.
and accelerate.
Okay, now he's starting to loosen it up.
So a 3:39 set by D.F. Young. Let's see what Pothole Heroes can do as they come around to complete their second qualifying lap. So this will wrap it up for them.
Notice the way you see these sponsons just kind of falling down, loping down into the water there. Every time that sponson hits down the water, it slows you down. So there's always a balance between allowing it. There we go. So he picked up 5 seconds on there, but it still wasn't enough. We got a 4.75 second split between D.F. Young's 3:39.77 and Allegra Motorsports.
It's a bigger gap than I
022.
thought I would have seen out of that. I kind of thought maybe that Pothole Heroes, now they've turned to the inside of the course, so Mark, I think they might choose to go for their bonus lap. Here is 222 Offshore Australia, of course, sponsored by the Australian Navy. Darren Nicholson and Giovanni Carpatelli in another victory hull.
Yep.
Very similar to Pothole Heroes and to Husky Spritz Ice, which we'll see qualify number 5 today.
Yep. Gio is a super experienced racer.
Yep.
Darren as well, racing in the Australian League.
Yep.
Giovanni races XCAT, has raced Class 1.
Been around a long time.
Long time.
And him and Darren have been racing for a long time together, too. Of course, your winner in Michigan City, Indiana last year.
Fantastic team. Now, you just look at the attitude difference here between the Allegra Motorsports Pothole Heroes and just take a look at what we're seeing out here. You could just see where he is. That boat is unstuck. It is aired out. He is going for a number here. He is going for a number here.
Darren Nicholson from Newcastle, South Wales, Australia, and Giovanni Carpatelli from Venice, Italy. I'm sorry, Lecco, Italy.
Just outside of Milan.
There you go.
Yeah, you could just listen to it, and he is on the limiter.
Definitely.
He is rolling through that. I think
A lot of confidence. Now, they have a lot of experience in this boat. Of course, raced it in 2022 in Class 1. Winner in Michigan City, Indiana. Of course, St. Pete, they had some mechanical issues and kind of struggled to get it together for the remainder of the year.
You're right. Yeah.
So that starts their qualifying lap. So we are going to have the brand new boat, MCON Monster Energy, boat number 06 coming up to start their qualifying lap. Let's see what Tyler and Myrick can do.
Yeah, I really want to see
222 Offshore Australia continues its qualifying lap, exiting this northern turn.
Do you notice that they didn't take quite as big a hops?
Yeah,
coming out of that?
they weren't bouncing around as much.
Yeah, they had it set up, dialed in nicely. He didn't come into this for that first lap, take an easy first lap. He came into this wanting a number.
So the official time for boat number 17, D.F. Young, is a 3:39.77. So that will hold true officially from timing and scoring. And a 3:44.53 for boat number 22, Pothole Heroes. I definitely think Pothole Heroes had a lot more left in it than a 3:44.
Listen, it's Johnny. If it's there, he's going to eke it out. They may have gone short on a propeller. They're trying something out here. They don't have a lot of time that they can.
And they're sitting in the middle of the course, which makes me want to think they're going for their bonus lap. 222 Offshore Australia, sponsored by the Australian Navy, come around
Once again, this is Cocoa Beach 2023 qualifying for Class 1 offshore. This is qualifying for start positions for tomorrow's race.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the monster boat.
Well, we're still looking at the 222.
There we go, the monster boat. So this is really the first time on a race course here, guys. So what you're seeing is history. I am sure there'll be a lot more to be written to this story. You can say you were here watching Monster Energy hit a race course for the first time.
Now, as the boat goes by, I do not hear the RPMs out of it like I heard out of 222 offshore Australia.
Yeah, these guys are being super conservative
much more
here.
conservative, and that's fine. Go get it figured out, kind of go through this turn. Myrick Coyle, of course, going to be triple duty this weekend. He's going to run this boat, he's going to run their Supercat entry, and he's going to run the Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems Super Stock entry later today. In fact, he'll probably jump from deck to deck of the qualifying MCON Monster Energy boat over to the Super Stock entry later today. Here is 222 offshore Australia. What a turn there.
Yeah, just beautiful.
I mean,
Nailed
they set it right in there. I'm very excited to see this.
Nailed it, and look how he got flat right away. Not a lot of side dipping spots.
Side to side. Yep, got out of that ground swell, got out of the trough, and got up into clean water.
Yeah.
Right now, the time to beat a 3:39 set by boat number 17, DF Young. Currently on the course is 222 offshore Australia and MCON Monster Energy.
You can just look at the rooster tail. He's got a lot of air in there. He's really got getting these propellers spun up. He's going to be making speed as much as you can with this hop out here. You're not going to be able to get all the speed because you're going to get the propellers out of the water, but he is really in it right now.
As he enters the Monster Mile for the second time.
You can just hear him.
Oh, yeah. This will wrap up their qualifying run.
Let's see how we end up. I got to tell you, I think that was a good fast run for a start.
Yeah, I think so. Not wrap up their qualifying runs. I'm sorry, start their second lap.
Monster Energy on the back stretch there. You can still see a lot of bow in the water here. He is falling down a bit. They're getting used to it.
Just trying to get it figured out as they head into the dogleg.
3:34. They knocked 5 seconds off of DF Young's time.
Yep.
So you could see that was coming. Won't surprise me to see another 2-3 seconds come off this second lap.
So a 3:34.66. So you can think that if 222 offshore Australia went that fast, Pothole Heroes definitely has something left in the guns for it. So I'm sure they will come back out here shortly as they continue to idle in the middle of the course.
Yeah. Once again, the 222, the Allegra Motorsports and the Husky boats are both based out of the same shop.
Yep. And both maintained by Gary Stray. MCON Monster Energy boat number 06 enters the south end of the turn. This will complete their first qualifying lap on a brand new boat. And walked across the deck of the boat, and I was like, maybe my feet are hot because it's black, or maybe they're hot because the resin is still curing in the carbon fiber there. But that boat is literally that new. It was even questionable whether it was even going to be done in time.
I got to tell you, I could tell the crew is just like, all right, we did everything right. Now it's a bit of cross your fingers. Because whatever you missed will show itself.
And their crew chief, Jake, has a brand new baby, a 7-week-old baby boy. I said, Jake, how much have you gotten sleep between a baby and between the boat? He said, not a whole heck of a lot. But congratulations to him and his wife, Sydney, on their beautiful 7-week-old baby boy. Jake, the crew chief for MCON Monster Energy, as they come around to finish lap number 1 in qualifying. So after MCON Monster Energy, we'll have Husky, Spritz Ice, and then DeFalco. Of course, 222 Australia offshore on the course now with MCON Monster Energy. I like what I'm seeing. They're a little bit flightier there, kind of picking the bow up.
Yep, he's definitely loosening it up. It's just, it seems like they're just not getting that acceleration off of those.
Well, the handling
character skipping over the waves, right? You need to kind of be skipping and bouncing on the top of them, and it seems like they're just sinking down into the water a little bit as they come in there.
The handling characteristics of a surface drive boat compared to a number 6 boat, which is completely what they're used to, are totally different. The boat's going to want to fly much more level, much more straighter, because the props are higher, the prop height is higher, wanting to push the boat further forward. They were looks like about 29 seconds.
Look at that. Navy just nailed that turn again.
But as MCON Monster Energy comes by, I'm hearing more RPMs. Sounds like they're spooled up just a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit of throttling going on out there. But look at what you have here is 222 Navy pinning turns on point. They really are textbook
Now, you thought you might see 2 or 3 more seconds off of it, currently sitting at a 3:34.66.
Yeah, I'd say that these guys can pull a couple more seconds off of that time.
Let's see if they can clean it up a little bit more. They are your leaders in qualifying. 222 Offshore Australia, sponsored by the Australian Navy. They come out
take
of
a look at this. When he's flying off these waves, from what we just saw, just notice how the boat's not sinking down into a thing and slowing. He's just skipping off of the top of them. Do you see that? Just bouncing, clipping, accelerating, bouncing, clipping, singing. That's just getting as much air into that tunnel, packing the tunnel up.
Official time for the MCON boat is 4.04 seconds.
Let's see what he shaved off.
Waiting for the official time for 222 Australia Offshore. And hopefully we'll either see it on our screen or get the update.
Yeah, waiting for it to come through here.
Via our official scores. Nothing yet. So now
we've got
Husky Spritz Ice should be coming up on a plane. They might wait for Monster Energy to go by. Yeah, they're going to wait one time for MCON Monster Energy to go by. They will come around, and then Husky Spritz will start. So right now, the only boat to stay out, Mark, Pothole Heroes.
Now you can see out here.
Let's see what 2-2.
You take a look at this. Take a look at the monster boat now. He's starting to feel it out a little bit. See how that rooster tail laid down?
Rooster tail's down.
Now he's in a speed mode, so he's much more efficient when he's in that mode there. The trick to getting a good time here is going to be keeping that down and keeping it in that position. Once again, it's a new boat, guys.
But it's flattening out. I mean, even when we started qualifying, it's getting flatter by the minute. The water is calming down. So if you came out to qualify with a rougher water setup, you may be behind the 8 ball just a little bit.
Well, the storms off to the west are going to be sucking that wind and that moisture off. So
lap number 2 for the 222 Offshore Australia boat is a 3:38.32. A 3:38.32. So they actually went backwards a little bit. They were actually a little bit slower on that lap.
3:38. We had a 3:34. No, they gained 1.
No, 3:34 is faster than a 3:38.
3:38. Sorry, you're right.
They lost 4 100ths of a second. But they still sit in that first spot with a
3:38.32.
So 3:34, the fastest time of the day. 3:39 was the second fastest time of the day. So currently it would be 222 first. Boat number 17, DF Young, second. Let's see what MCON Monster Energy does as they exit the turn, come up towards the Monster Mile. Mark, this is interesting. 222 Offshore Australia stayed in the middle of the course.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they think they've got something more. So the bonus lap qualifying, which was voted on this morning's meeting.
No, Gio didn't like that he went backwards there. That would for Gio, who is a consummate competitor, right? That guy is ready to race at any given time, is not going to leave losing time on that. So he's going to put up another one.
The skater looks better, though. It's definitely not falling down in the holes as much.
Much better. You can see he's starting to skip off of those waves there.
Yep, carrying the bow a little bit more, getting a little bit more air underneath of it. Let's see what they do on their second lap.
Once again, this is the first time in the water. So, you know, while we are critiquing and talking about that, has nothing to do with how that boat will eventually end up running. We know that that crew and the crew chief are very experiencing in finding the speed that they need, and believe me, they will find it. All right, we've got Husky Spritz.
Husky Spritz Ice now taking to the course.
41 victory.
Steve Curtis, Britt Lilly driving today, filling in for Travis Pastrana, who is supposed to be doing a couple events, hopefully later in the year. MCON Monster Energy pulls off. We'll wait for their official lap time to come up. But here comes Husky Ice Spritz. I think I called it Spritz Ice. I apologize.
Right. A lot of history
Husky
with this boat.
Ice Spritz, yep.
A lot of history with this boat. This boat was Spirit of Norway. It was Spirit of Qatar.
Yep.
Miss Geico. It is now Husky. It was Husky Chocolate. Now it's Husky Spritz. So, and that's to name a few. I'm sure there was a couple more in there in between.
There very well could have been.
This is Steve's baby. He has. I'd
say it's probably Gary Stray's baby a little bit more than Steve. Gary Stray is very invested in this boat and making it go.
I'm not sure. Gary may never want to see that thing again.
This might be very, very true. All right, they come across the start line. They will start their qualifying lap. Lap number 2 for the MCON Monster Energy boat, a 3:58.59. So they did improve on their time quite a bit.
Listen to that speed. Listen, I mean, you can just hear it.
Yeah, but it's got a big pop coming from it already.
He's on the limiter. Hot hit right there on the limiter.
Yeah.
He has got that thing nailed, which means he's gone a little short on his gear ratio. So
he might have thought it was going to be a little bit rougher than what it was.
So these boats, remember, it's not just the propeller you ran. Remember, before we would run a single gear ratio, and you would had to pick a short or a tall propeller, right? Whether a 31, a 34, a 36, whatever. In this case, they change out the gear ratios to find that perfect speed. So for right now, not necessarily does that mean that he wouldn't have the fastest boat, because in Class 1 racing, it comes down to track position as well. If you can accelerate up ahead, you've got a clean track, get into a turn, accelerate ahead.
DeFalco now comes on to the course. This is the Outer Limits hull. The only Outer Limits racing, Mike Falco and Chris Hanley running in this Outer Limits hull. Of course, Chris Hanley from Auckland, New Zealand. Mike DeFalco from New York City.
What a beautiful boat. It's just a gorgeous boat.
Yeah, it came out really, really good. The other Outer Limits we'll be SV Offshore.
So this team, Chris Hanley's got a lot of experience. He's been out there. He
actually used to run the MTI. We'll see race tomorrow.
Yeah, race the whole
Valder Yachts entry.
Race the Australian circuit. He loves the rough water. He's a super experienced throttle man.
But this is a fairly new boat too. There's no other Outer Limits built for this class. There's no really information to go on. So every time that Mike and Chris get out there and run this boat, they're continuously learning, just like everybody. Everybody's continuously learning and taking notes to see how everything goes.
That's how the class series went. You have to remember, it's boats like Steve Curtis's boat, the Husky boat, and 222 have got 20 plus years refining those particular boats, those teams. So they already know what those boats will do with 850 to 900 horsepower Lamborghini power or Mercury power. Now, with the 1100 horsepower, it gives them a little bit more to work with. They're just fine-tuning now. So the other teams are the ones who have to put the work in to come up to that speed, which will ultimately make Class 1 racing even better.
So right now, it looks like our fastest qualifying time is still going to be that 3:34.66. And I heard pop there, a rev limiter pop from DeFalco. Husky Ice Spritz comes around. Of course, Britt Lilly actually not pulling double duty for the first time this weekend. Kevin Smith is going to be running Britt's V Extreme tomorrow in the Mod V class. Does look good coming through the corner. Of course, Britt and Steve actually doing very well together, very successful together. Ran very well in Key West last year. Were prized to take the World Championships until they had a mechanical issue on Sunday. Handing the World Championship over to Johnny and Carlos.
Certainly know that Steve will have this thing dialed in and skipping across the waves.
So Pothole Heroes is still sitting in the middle of the course. 222 Offshore Australia is sitting in the middle of the course. As Husky Ice Spritz comes across just actually enters the Monster Mile. There's the buoy right there. And they will come across the finish line to complete their first lap. Let's see what their time is. Right now, time to beat is a 3:34.66 set by Offshore Australia. No more pop now, Mark, so it kind of sounds like he's where he wants to be.
He's found right where he needs to be on the zone. MCon came in on their final with a +2.4.
So waiting for the official times to come across. It looks like Husky Chocolate was behind by about 3 seconds. So maybe about a 3:37 first lap for that team. MCon Monster Energy is going to head back to the pits and pull the boat out. Tyler and Myrick must be pretty satisfied with their performance. I would kind of take that. They were able to finish. Don't push the equipment harder than what you needed to. Go back, check everything, make sure it's tight. When I talked to Myrick and Jake earlier, I said I had to go in testing, and they went, well, it didn't sink. So I was like, okay, hats off to you boys for not sinking.
Look, they did it right. They ran safe. They ran it fast. They've got a lot of homework to do, but that team has proven over again, whether it's Super Stock, whether it's Super Cat, that they will find the speed.
DeFalco is going to come around to complete their first lap of testing as they get ready to enter the south turn here. Husky Ice Spritz just exiting the north turn. DeFalco, the Outer Limits Cat, Mike Falco, and Chris Hanley. Mike driving and Chris Hanley on the throttles. This is a 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach presented by Keltec.
I got to tell you, Mike, I'm drinking these monster drinks because they got them all around the booth here. and I'm not sure I can.
I see it in your eyes.
I'm not sure I can have another one.
See it in
I'm
your
not
eyes.
sleeping tonight, that's for certain.
You're at a boat race. You're not supposed to sleep at a boat race. That's not what you do. DeFalco coming out of the south turn, going to start heading north on this 6.9 mile course. Yep.
Nice turn. He got it right there on the pin. It's very smooth.
Mike Falco's got a lot of performance boating history, not much racing history, but has quite a few poker run boats that run up there in the New York area up in the northeast. Of course, Chris Hanley all the way from New Zealand. And we'll see his former teammate and fellow New Zealander, Wayne Valder, tomorrow run in Supercat with Grant Bruggerman. So here comes DeFalco.
Yeah, it just looks like
Husky
it looks like they are off the pace here.
So Husky Chocolate on its first lap turned to 3:37.94. So they are about 3 seconds or 3/100ths of a second.
See, it looks like DeFalco's just still he's fallen down into the water quite a bit. You see where the water's breaking up here?
Yep.
Just breaking up here on the front. He wants to get that water breaking back a little bit and using the drives down a little to pressurize the hole and hold it down.
So 222 Offshore Australia currently sits on the pole with a 3:34.66. It will be boat number 1 currently in second with a 3:37.94. That's Husky Ice Spritz. Boat number 17 would be third of the pole, 3:39.77. That's DF Young. And boat number 06, MCon Monster Energy, would start in the 4th place. So DF Young headed back in, MCon Monster Energy headed back in. Currently on the course, we have Husky Ice Spritz and DeFalco. We have Pothole Heroes and 222 Offshore Australia waiting on the inside of the course. It looks like they're going to take their bonus lap.
Right. So right away, as it sits right now, Aussie 222 with the fastest lap at 3:34.66. Husky plus 3:28 in second place. DF Young plus 5 seconds in third place. Allegra plus 9 seconds.
Husky,
MCon plus 24 seconds.
Husky Ice Spritz comes across the start-finish line. Aerial coverage for this provided by X Insurance. Go to xinsurance.com for all of your insurance needs. Of course, sponsored quite a few boats here in the area as well. We saw TFR X Insurance racing earlier. 2 boats, 1 in Class 5, 1 in Class 7. You'll see a couple of more X Insurance boats out on the course tomorrow. Of course, Good Boy Vodka, X Insurance, not here this weekend as they have gotten a new MTI from the Abu Dhabi team overseas and just weren't able to get the boat finished in time. So we hope Alex Pratt and Miles Jennings will be joining us in Sarasota, Florida.
Super fast boat, and X Insurance has just been fantastic in coming into the sport. They've really committed to it, not only with an unbelievable rig and setup, but a super dynamic crew, and also supporting the whole effort.
So Husky
offshore.
Ice Spritz ran a 3:36.90 for their second lap. So they currently are still in second place, or qualifying position number 2 on the pole, behind 222 Australia, Offshore Australia. Now, Mark, I wonder. I don't think if it stays like this and 222 is on the pole, they're not going to run their bonus lap if nobody else is going to go out and beat them.
Yeah, there's no reason for it.
No reason to go out and push the equipment.
They're sitting there waiting. Should we do this or should we not do it?
And this might be some mind games right now. Britt and Steve are seeing the Australian team sitting down there wondering what they're going to do. Pothole Heroes is trying to figure out what they're going to do. This is like watching pitching in baseball with the time clock now.
I love this.
They're going to make eye contact and decide what they want to do, if they want to go play again or it's going to stay. Yep, they're in the middle. Pothole Heroes. I think Pothole Heroes is the one that's really going to want to try and run again.
So what you got? What you have here? And I'm sorry you guys can't see it. Is we have 222 and Husky Spritz facing off in the center of the course. It's pretty amazing because each one is trying to get into the head. Are you going to run for another one, or are we going to run for another one? So it's
qualifying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Definitely a mind game going on out here.
Starting pole tomorrow would look like this if it finished right now. 222 Offshore Australia on the pole with a 3:34.66. Boat number 1, Husky Ice Spritz with a 3:36.90. They would be in position number 2. DF Young would be in position number 3. Boat number 17. They ran a 3:39.77. All of these boats really, Mark, very competitive, right up there with each other. It's good to see the Mystic running with the Victory Hulls. You know, we kind of talked about that earlier in our broadcast. Of course, DeFalco now finishing there. This is the end of their second lap. First lap ran a 3:39. So, Mark, they weren't really that far off.
Really not that far off.
No.
Everything, and you kind of expected, MCon to be in that role as they're getting the thing. DeFalco had some new changes this year, so you kind of expected those boats to be slightly off pace. DF Young, I think, did surprisingly well, especially for their new setup. Having that new power in the boat, I think
they did great. I mean, they were only 3/100ths of a second off of.
Yeah, I'm only surprised that the Allegra was 9 seconds out of the pace. But once again, they also made changes to the boat this year.
The X Insurance helicopter flies overhead. You can hear it just on the other side of our microphone. So we've got some boats in the middle. We're waiting to see what happens as DeFalco comes across the finish line. That will wrap up their qualifying run. They ran a 3:39 prior. Let's see if they can improve upon that this time. Just definitely much slower. 4.04 for DeFalco on their second lap. So they're definitely going to stick with.
You got to see 222 and Husky out here in the center. They're circling each other like sharks. Are they gonna go for that second lap? If Steve
goes for it,
then 222 is going to be sitting there. I'm not sure if one has to go before the other, but I can tell you.
Well, I thought Pothole Heroes would go for their second lap for sure, but I mean they're still sitting in the middle of the course waiting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I expect Pothole Heroes is most likely going to try for that, but this whole thing here. So it looks like 222 is going to have to go first because they were first on the line there. Yeah, I knew that. These are really, really competitive guys out there.
Well, that wasn't
really, really competitive guys.
That wasn't explained in the drivers' meeting at all. Who was going to get to run the lap, or they're going to run in order of which they ran if they choose to do the bonus lap. If that was the case, it really should be Pothole Heroes going first. They qualified number 2. They were before all these other boats. They are currently still sitting in the middle of the course.
I thought 222 was getting up on plane there. But this is a bit of a showdown going out here. It's a showdown, no question. Because if you think about it, 222 could easily pull off knowing they're in first place for the start of the race next week. With Britt and Steve in that boat, you can't not but want more. They want to grab that spot.
So we have confirmed from race control that Husky wants to do a third lap. So Husky Ice Spritz has confirmed they will do a third lap. I think that's going to take 222 Offshore Australia and do a third lap. And of course, no word from Pothole Heroes. Pothole Heroes also wants to do a third lap.
Now the question.
Let's see if Offshore Australia will call in. So Pothole Heroes is going to get up on a plane. So I think they're going to turn south, Mark, probably run down towards buoy number 6.
There goes Pothole Heroes getting up on plane.
Okay, so race control has confirmed that 222 is on standby. So I think 222 might be waiting to see what Husky Ice Spritz does. It looks like they're going to go in order of which they were earlier. Pothole Heroes, boat number 022, going to go first. Carlos and Johnny get up onto a plane, spool the turbos up, and they head south as they get ready to run their third and final. This is it, though. You start this lap, you finish this lap, you don't get another one. This is it, but they do get one more shot at it. Their fastest lap was a 3:44.53. Let's see if they can better that. Our two top boats are down in the 3:30s, the high 3:30s, a 3:34 and a 3:38. I'm sorry, a 3:34 and a 3.
All right, now look at Johnny. Johnny has got
37.
He's in it now. They're looking to make it count. Now, see, look at the way the boat's starting to carry.
Well, and 222 Offshore Australia, they're going to go up to it too. They're going to get right in line behind each other.
Just take a look. Look at where the water's breaking now.
Yep.
He's really now starting to get that boat to where he's going to want to run it. So I think you'll see a faster lap here out of them.
But it's one lap and one lap only to see if you can better your time. So they enter the turn. They go past buoy number 6. They're coming around buoy number 7, 8, and 9 before they come back up and enter the Monster Mile here in the Atlantic Ocean. 2023 Thunder on Coca Prix, presented by Keltec. Produced by P1 Offshore. Go to p1offshore.com. Follow our schedule, favorite race teams. Keep up with all the action happening in powerboat racing. So they're going to mark. So I'm looking over here, you know, just outside of our broadcast booth, and it looks like they are going to hold Husky Ice Spritz until Pothole Heroes is done. Let them get some space between it. Pothole Heroes, boat number 022, exits a turn. They're going to put the hammer down, trim the drives in, and get that boat to accelerate as they get ready to run their one bonus qualifying lap. Let's see if they can better their time of a 3:44.53. That was their first. That was actually their second lap, their second qualifying attempt. Boat looks much better though, much looser, setting down on the tail a little bit more, carrying the bow. getting air packed up onto the tunnel. But it has, but Mark, again, I repeat, it has flattened out, though. It is much calmer than what it was when we started qualifying.
The storms were getting close and pulling that air, that wind up there, which bumped it up. Now you hear the RPMs on him? It's much higher.
Yeah, it's pulled up a lot more.
Much more.
As he crosses the start line.
Just skimming the top of the water here, which is where that boat, on those first laps.
Now, he wasn't on the rev limiter when he went by the first 2 times. He didn't hit the rev limiter at all. Now he's starting to hit it, meaning he could be a little bit lighter. It's kind of dangerous, though, because he's probably a little short on his setup.
I think he's bumped the trim out on it a little bit.
Maybe
he's
trying to
get that speed out of it and just kind of air it out a little bit more. But it certainly looks a lot better. I know the way that boat runs in the water. When it feels like it's stuck, it feels so slow.
Carlos ran right to the buoy through that turn, though. I mean, he was real tight on it, so he's going to run the shortest course he possibly can as Husky Ice Spritz and 222 Offshore Australia wait.
Super fast through this turn here, though. Look at him. He's going point to point, point to point.
Carried a lot more speed.
And he's going to nail this turn, pin it, and get it straight as fast as he can. Do not drift.
Boat looks different to me. Now the rooster tail should tuck down a little bit. Yep, there it goes.
You don't see the water breaking off the front of the boat where before you saw it diving down in the water. All you see, and you see how that rooster tail is flattened out?
Yep.
That's what you want to see for a fast setup.
So they will run down towards the dog leg, make the south turn, and then come back up and complete their 3rd bonus lap of Class 1 qualifying. Currently it's 222 Offshore Australia sitting on the pole. Ice Spritz, Husky Ice Spritz in 2nd. Let's see if that can change. DF Young would be in 3rd.
So they got their seatbelts tightened there. Yep. I got to tell you, they are ready to go. But I will tell you that they have a tremendous safety team flying above them. The rescue team led by Sean Steinert, who's a retired Orlando Fire operations chief. He was actually my former private safety advisor, along with Dave D. But all the rescue divers are firefighters, medics, law enforcement, military, special forces. These guys, you can't do what these guys are doing out there without knowing that those pros are above you and are right there. You can't do it because should something happen, they're there, and that allows you to push to the edge. So there's such an experienced crew out there. Great guys.
All right, Pothole Heroes now comes around the south turn. They've gone through the dog leg. They've gone past buoy number 6, number 7. They're going to line up with number 8 and 9, exit the turn, go into the Monster Mile, and then finish their bonus lap. Monster Energy Drink's the official energy drink of P1 Offshore
Racing. Nice turn
Racing.
there, Carlos. Nice turn.
Available at your local convenience stores. Picked one up today at the local 7-Eleven on the way down here. As Pothole Heroes exits the turns, they're going to trim the drives a little bit more, push just a little bit harder, try and get as much speed out of this victory hull as they can, and wrap up their bonus lap. Superstock still to come after this. It's about 3:23 here on the East Coast in the United States, so we're going to be probably starting just about 4 o'clock.
As you look down, so much of what you can tell from the way the attitude is. Look at the rooster tail, look at where the water is, look at the tunnel. He's got the attitude of the deck perfectly straight, and he's just carrying over it. That's the way that boat was designed to run. It's absolutely ideal is what he's got the setup as right now.
Now, I'm surprised to see Husky Ice Spritz is not up and running yet. Although, I'm sorry, 222 Offshore Australia went before Husky Ice Spritz.
He needed a little bit of time there. He may have made it up, but it certainly looked a lot better.
Let's see what we do as 222 Offshore Australia gets up onto a plane. They will head to buoy number 6 and start their 3rd bonus qualifying lap. So our top 2 boats decided to do a bonus lap, and our 3rd place boat, DF Young, went back in early. So Pothole Heroes technically could make up some ground. They ran that 344 on their first lap, and right now the 3rd place boat is sitting there with a 339. So let's see if Pothole Heroes can better that qualifying position. And also the X Insurance helicopter fly back by, aerial coverage provided by X Insurance. Go to xinsurance.com for more information. So 222 Australia. So Pothole Heroes did a 3:43.09, did not better it enough to take over that 3rd place. So they will be starting in 4th place as it sits right now. 3rd place locked in with DF Young boat number 17. 4th place locked in with Pothole Heroes. 5th place locked in with with DeFalco and MCon Monster Energy, rounding out your 6 boats here in Cocoa Beach. 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec.
The boat looked a lot better. I was surprised they didn't pick up a second.
Yeah,
or two
yeah,
on that.
it definitely was not a lot of speed. I'm going
to do the math here. They may have just.
So a 3:43.09. That will put them in a 4th place qualifying spot. 222 Australia Offshore. Now just enters the Monster Mile. Mark, there's a big thing of seaweed right by that bottom Monster Mile buoy. The Rum Runner team went out earlier with a packed sea strainer because of the...
I mean, look at the difference in the way this boat is running here.
Yeah, it's night and day difference, even between Pothole Heroes and this. It's a world of difference.
This boat, I mean, we can hear it, guys. I know you guys are watching this on live stream here, but I am telling you, these guys are hauling the mail right now. Just skimming over the water. The water is literally breaking on the transom.
Thunder on Cocoa Beach would like to thank Keltec for all their support. Keltec employs hundreds of your friends and neighbors right here in Brevard County, many of them military veterans. Look for their guns at your favorite firearms dealer. Keltec, the presenting sponsor of the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. Monster Energy drink, of course, supporting the Monster Energy Mile and the Monster Energy MCon racing team. Find Monster Energy at your local convenience store. Sea Ray Boats, the official pace boat for 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach Offshore. Also like to thank Butt Racks, CMR Construction and Roofing, Cape Marina, X Insurance. Visit spacecoast.com. Good Boy Vodka, Wallace Air Conditioning Heating, Mercury Racing, JT Social Bar located inside of Cocoa Beach, La Quinta Inn, Bale Brothers Cranes and Rigging, Coconuts on the Beach, Sandbar Sports and Grill, Cocoa Beach Fish Camp, Golf and Gator, Direct Graphic, Controls on Demand, Boat and Motor Superstore, and Ambet Concrete Coating, your sponsors for the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. And Husky Ice Spritz is up on a plane. They are exiting turn number 6, so they are going to start their bonus lap. And this is for the top 2 positions, currently 222 Australia Offshore, or Offshore Australia rather.
I mean, they're just look at them move on the backstretch.
Oh, they look
gorgeous.
Great.
Yeah, gorgeous.
But
really,
I tell you what, Husky Ice Spritz looks really good.
Yeah, he's that now. These 2 boats are dialed in. They are set up.
Banging the rev limiter again, though. I can hear it.
I just don't know. Perhaps the Pothole Heroes was carrying too much weight. I know DF Young had a little extra weight in their boat.
Yep.
They could have been a little bit lighter. Gary Stray, though, when he sets up a boat, he's setting you up for these laps, and you are going to come out within and right at the weight. Perhaps when some of these guys filled up for the race tomorrow, put a little extra in, not knowing if they wanted extra laps or not. But that extra weight will make a difference in being able to get that boat to carry.
So Husky Ice Spritz goes down into turn number 1. 222 Offshore Australia goes past buoy number 6, buoy number 7. They get ready to exit their turn. A couple big hops down there in the corner as we look up from our screen. So maybe not as calm as I thought it would be.
What do we have for laps tomorrow, do you know?
I do.
14?
Look in just a second. We'll let everybody know later.
What I'm saying is,
you can go to P1. Well, you can go to P1Offshore.com or follow P1 Offshore on Facebook or on Instagram for all of the race information.
So we look at if it's a 10-lap race, what you're going to see the way standings sit right now. The 222 boat and the Husky boat will have a significant stretch, right? Whether it's 5 seconds a lap faster times 10 laps, that's 50 seconds. So this, while the number may not look huge on your screen, the number on a race day on a racetrack will stretch out. So a lot of these teams have got to do some homework tonight and figure out why and how to get that number done.
222 Offshore Australia comes by. They will complete their bonus lap right in the middle of the Monster Mile. It's a start-finish line, and they will cross it. Let's see if they can better that time. They were sitting on the pole in first place, ran a 3:34.66. Let's see if they can improve upon that. And let's see if Husky Ice Spritz rather can improve upon their 3:36.94. Those are the times to beat.
I love.
Wow, 222 Nope, I'm sorry.
Here we
I was
go.
looking. There we go. 2:22 offshore Australia ran a 3:38.19.
So they did not better their time.
They did not improve. So the 3:34 holds, and unless Husky Ice Brits can beat the 3:34 time set by 2:22 offshore Australia.
Boat looks good on the back stretch. Rooster tail looks a little high, but it is in the turn.
Got to be careful. There is that big clump of seaweed right there by that first Monster Mile buoy. And a big clump of seaweed like that, a little bit hard to see out of a canopy boat, and they don't want something to happen.
Right.
Our super stock boats, Mark, are already on the north end of the course coming out, so we will get to super stock racing off very, very shortly.
Hearts pounding out there. Those strainers are not that big. It does not take much of that seagrass to get in there, and the seagrass will also make the way straight through the strainers into the heat exchangers.
Yep.
So these teams will all have to be pulling apart their heat exchangers and everything tonight to make sure that no grass has gotten into them that could harm them tomorrow in tomorrow's race.
Let's see if Husky Ice Brits can beat 3:34.66. That is the time to beat. They enter the Monster Mile one more time, getting ready to come across the finish line. And let's see if they can beat 3:34.66. Boat looks fast. She is wound up.
Wound up.
He is pushing it as hard as she possibly can. Britt's keeping the wheel as straight as he possibly can. There they go. Big hop right over a seaweed bed, it looked like. And let's see if they can better a 3:34.66. Impressive run there as they get chased down by the X Insurance helicopter providing aerial footage for the Class 1 TV programs that will be broadcast later in the year. Go to p1offshore.com, follow P1 Offshore, Facebook and Instagram for all the current information. 3:34.66. Mark and I are eagerly looking at our phones to see if they can beat it. Waiting patiently.
Steve and Britt looked pretty fast coming up that final stretch there. They really did. I feel like, you know.
3:34.66, 3:36.01. They did not do it. So 2:22 offshore Australia will have the pole. Husky Ice Brits will be in second and pole position number 2. Pole position number 3 will be boat number 17, DF Young. Pole position number 4 will be Pothole Heroes. Pole position number 5 will be DeFalco, and position number 6 will be 06 MCon Monster Energy. Class 1 qualifying has wrapped up. We are going to take a short break while we get the super stock boats in position, and they will be your next race here. It's the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec. I'm Mike Uoski, Mark Granite. We'll be back right after this.
If you own a home or business, it might surprise you to see what is not covered in your insurance policy. There are gaps and exclusions in primary and umbrella policies that make you a target if an incident or claim occurs and you don't have the right coverage in place. And that's why you need a true umbrella policy from X Insurance. There are 40 million lawsuits filed every year in the USA. Let's get that target off your back.
Welcome to what proved to be another action-packed season in P1 Offshore's Superstock class. There were thrills and spills in 3 rounds of action that kicked off on Florida's Space Coast in the 2022 edition of the legendary Thunder on Cocoa Beach. That was followed by the Sarasota Grand Prix on Southwest Florida's Gulf Coast. Then the fleet headed to St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida for the 2022 APBA P1 Offshore Championship for Superstocks. Now let's head back to round one on Cocoa Beach as we review the 2022 P1 Offshore Superstock season. Thunder on Cocoa Beach was raced in all classes on a 7.5-mile circuit that runs the length of Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach has a vibrant bar and restaurant scene, glorious sunshine, miles of sandy beaches, and of course stunning ocean views, as fans crowded the streets and enjoyed the traditional boat parade, a celebration of the powerboating way of life as teams, families and spectators joined in the fun with street parties and concerts. This year introduces the 4-stroke 300R Mercury racing engine to the existing 2-stroke 300 XSs. This super competitive class features 28 to 32-foot catamarans with fully enclosed race canopies, and this year introduces the 4-stroke 300R Mercury racing engine to the existing 2-stroke 300 XSs. There were 11 teams and 22 drivers and throttlemen racing at Cocoa Beach, with some experienced champions past and also some new faces in the mix. Last year's overall Superstock runner-up S1 CMR Racing is back on a brand new boat, with last year's champion Sean Torrente racing alongside teammate Sean Connor.
And we're at Cocoa Beach, first race of the season, first step in defending our national championship from last year, and we have a completely new Doug Wright 32 that we got about 3 weeks ago. Brand new 300Rs from Mercury Racing, which we're really excited about. 4-strokes have arrived in offshore, which is awesome, just like overseas.
Last year's championship winning boat is this year racing as the number 14 Atlas Offshore Racing, with driver Tanner Lewis driving with throttleman Billy Moore. Performance Boat Centre had Myrick Coyle as driver alongside Rusty Williams on throttle, with driver Coyle also running the MCON boat.
We're fortunate enough, knock on wood, that we've podiumed every time that we've raced together. So we're going on 16 or 17 top threes in a row. So that's a big thing that we'd like to keep up this weekend. Now that I talked about it, it might be the downfall, but
we're in it to win the national championship and then hopefully move on to the world championship. Last year we were able to clinch the world championship in Key West, and we were just barely squeezed out for the national championship.
The Superstock race was on. The starting lineup and pole position determined by lottery.
Basically do a lottery. I'm not good at those, so I had my new driver Sean Connor do it, and we pulled third, which is pretty good. So we start third. My old boat pulled pole position, so they're on pole, and we have LPC next to us on the inside, and Alan Lawn Care, who won this race last year, right outside of us. So it's going to be an interesting run down to the first corner. It should be really good.
In our starting grid, we're going to be starting in the 8th position, which is pretty far out. Not the best that we wanted, but it's okay. This is not a race that you win in the first corner. You win it, at the end of the day. So we're here to.
If you own a home or business, it might surprise you to see what is not covered in your insurance policy. There are gaps and exclusions in primary and umbrella policies that make you a target if an incident or claim occurs and you don't have the right coverage in place. And that's why you need a true umbrella policy from X Insurance. There are 40 million lawsuits filed every year in the USA. Let's get that target off your back.
Welcome back to the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec. Mike Iwaski joined by Mark Granite. We just wrapped up Class 1 qualifying, and we are going to jump right into Super Stock racing here on the first of 2 days of racing in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Big thank you to Keltec for being our presenting sponsor this year. Thunder on Cocoa Beach offshore racing could not happen without the support of great sponsors like Keltec. Make sure to look for their local guns at your favorite firearms dealer. Of course, Monster Energy, the official energy drink of P1 Offshore and Class 1 Offshore Racing. Sea Ray Boats, the official pace boat for the 2023 Offshore Thunder on Cocoa Beach Offshore Race. Also thanks to Buttrex, CMR Construction and Roofing, Cape Marina X Insurance, visit spacecoast.com, Good Boy Vodka, Wallace Air Conditioning and Heating, Mercury Racing, JT Social Bar located inside of the Cocoa Beach La Quinta Inn, Bale Brothers Cranes and Rigging, Coconuts on the Beach, Sandbar Sports Grill, Cocoa Beach Fish Camp, Golf and Gator, Directs Graphic, Controls on Demand, Boat and Motor Superstore, and Ambet Concrete Coating.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a bit of a change here, Mike. We normally have a Superstock race on race Sunday. Now the Superstock race is...
Yep, they chose to race on Saturday, which works out great. Kind of opens up the window a little bit for racing on Sunday, but also gives the Superstock boats their own race.
And these guys are coming down the straightaway here.
Yep, and it looks like they've got a green flag, and we're going racing. Superstock.
Hammer down.
Cocoa Beach, Florida. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems looks like they're out to the early lead. That's Big East Construction in the middle. Very hard to see
Big East
on our monitor. So let's
Big East on the outside. Performance really got a nice start. These guys really were timed on there. Allen's Lawn Care always in the mix. These guys up front now. I think they're leading the. Nope, you've got Big East on the outside here.
Well, that's technically on the inside. Outside is closer to us. Inside's going to be on the middle of the course. Big East Construction. They're going to come live as they enter the Monster Mile. They're going to come across the start line. They've already taken the checkered flag. We will be able to give you a much better update. I do see Jackhammer in the group. I know Big East Construction's in there. Let's see how this pans out.
I got to tell you, this is what a start. You have to see this. Look at this.
32-foot catamarans powered by Mercury 300R Racing outboard engines. Right now, it's Jackhammer out of their early lead. Big East Construction in second. Allen Lawn Care Landscaping, typically known to be a rough water boat, is going to be on the outside. They are currently now in third
place, making a move on the outside.
They are going to have to hold their lanes through that turn. They said at the drivers' meeting, maintain your lane through the first corner, all the way through the 4 buoys. And, of course, the X Insurance helicopter right above going to be videotaping the whole thing in case there are any protests. Jackhammer going to lead going into the turn. Big East Construction on the inside. They're going to have a big advantage, Mark, being on the inside of this 4-pin turn headed north.
Absolutely. As long as everybody holds their lanes, which is in the rules. You must hold your lanes here. So with that in the case
Let's see
here,
how it goes.
Yep, Big East should come out level with
the
Jackhammer boat.
Oh, there is a boat to the inside of Big East. I didn't get to see what boat it was. Kind of hard to see from our vantage point, but let's see if we can update you as they go. Jackhammer on the outside, Big East Construction on the inside.
That will be 7-7.
That's North Wing Offshore.
Darren
Kitteridge, yep, Grant Bruggerman. So they're going to be on the inside of this battle right now. Jackhammer and Big East Construction side by side. Jackhammer pulls out just a little bit. Oh, a lot of mix-up back in there, Mark. Oh, looks like somebody made some moves on the outside. Hard to tell. A lot of rooster tails there. So right now, Jackhammer in first. Big East Construction in second. I do believe that's North Wing Offshore, maybe now in third.
Big East Construction starting to pull ahead here. They've got a boat length on, just because of the angle, they got a boat length on Jackhammer. This is a great straightaway. Gary Ballou, I talked to him this week. He has been testing. Him and Cole Leibel have been testing. Now Jackhammer starts to pull ahead.
Yep, Jackhammer in the Victory Hall.
Wow.
Reese Lanham and Julian Maldonado.
He just stretched it out.
32 Victory Hall, yep. And now Big East Construction, of course, Gary Ballou, very familiar with the Victory Halls. He has one. This is a Doug Wright owned by Cole Leibel. And throttled by Gary Ballou. Jackhammer in the lead. Big East Construction in second. Still trying to figure out who's in third.
Big East Construction is a victory. Big East.
That is the victory.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the victory. I apologize. That is the victory. So 2 victories, top 1 and 2. Right now the battle is going to be for third in Super Stock. Here are your leaders. Jackhammer in first. Big East Construction in second.
Both running 300R power.
This is the battle for third. That's Allen Lawn Care Landscaping. Nope, I'm sorry. That's actually the battle for fourth back in Super Stock. Allen Lawn Care Landscaping, Fast Diesel Fuel Systems, Performance Boat Center. I think that's Cocoa Monkeys.
Yep.
They're now going to get into the Rooster Tails as they exit the dogleg, head down to the turn.
LPC, Cocoa, Celsius, CMR.
Super Stock running 7 laps. Jackhammer in the lead. And let's see what happened to Big East. They were right there with them, less than a rooster tail length behind the 2 Victory Halls.
So the way the setup looks right now, Jackhammer, Big East, Allen Lawn Care, Performance Boat Center. S25, LPC, Coco, Celsius, 8th place. CMR, 9th place. Northwind, 10th place.
Big East Construction falling way behind Jackhammer now. Not quite why they've fallen so far back so quick. They were side by side with them going into this turn. Jackhammer, your leader. Big East Construction in second, trying to figure out who's in third.
There we go.
And that's this big group coming up behind him. There's a big mass. Yep, there's Big East Construction right there. And I believe that is Team Bermuda, S25 GL Construction, I believe. But don't quote me on that. We'll see as they come by. There is the CMR roofing boat, the MTI, Sean Connor, Sean Torrente. They are coming up on the outside. It looks like they've gotten around North Wing offshore. So the MTI making a run on the outside. The lone MTI in Superstock. Look at the lead by Jackhammer, though, way out in front. Now the battle is for second. Look at this group moving up behind you. Big, massive boats. And Mark, this is really good for Jackhammer because these other boats are going to start slowing each other down, worrying about each other, and let Jackhammer just stretch that lead out and get out as far and as fast as they can.
Yeah, super stock racing, similar to any of the big boats running, you really got to find good, clean water. When you're dodging in and out of boat wakes to try and find clean water or a good straight racing line, it makes it difficult. You have to back off a little bit as you're crossing through wakes.
All right, Jackhammer comes across, completes lap number 1 of 7. Big East Construction in second. I believe that is GL Construction, Team Bermuda, Dave Shelley and Steve Bridges now in third. Here comes CMR Construction.
Well, hold on. You got Bermuda pushing hard on Big East now. They've really pushing hard. They're going to get him. They're going to get him.
Look at the speed of CMR. There's GL Construction. There is Big East. And it looks like GL is going to take the pass the lead for second.
Now Big East, Gary Ballou and Cole do have track position here.
That's CMR on the outside. They are trying to make a move for third currently. Big, massive boats. Alan Lawn Care Landscaping in there. Northwing's in there. Northwing's going to be on the inside. Not enough to take overlap, though. Big East is going to control the corner going in. Jackhammer well into their turn, way out in front by this point. Battle now for second and for third. Big East goes in. Looks like Team Bermuda stayed on the outside.
Big East made a bunch of time up here, taking that turn. They got a lot of space in there and pinned it.
Yeah, but look at Bermuda GL Construction on the outside, trying to make a move on the outside. Carried a little bit more speed into the corner. Let's see if it pays off.
If you can win on the outside, you have speed.
Well, and Big East can push him now. He can scrub off a little bit of speed. Cole Leibel can push him out a little bit. Doesn't look like he's going to do it. Team Bermuda trying to make a move on the outside. Looks like they're going to do it. More speed. They did.
They did it. That was nothing but being able to stay in it. Because of the angle, Gary had to lift and set the boat for that turn.
Team Bermuda, GL Construction now in second, but here comes Big East right back up to the inside. What a battle in second place for Superstock. Jackhammer way out in the lead. The battle right now for second and for third. There goes Team Bermuda, GL Construction. They are gapping out now. Big East. What happens to Big East
every
time
it's like
out of this corner?
Great acceleration. They seem to pull right up on them, and it seems to fall off a little bit. There it goes again. Gary's got some speed. He's pulling up. The boat is carrying perfectly, and at that pace, he should be able to pass. And then 2 seconds later, he begins to fall off a bit.
Just outside of our camera view, CMR Roofing and Construction. They are currently in fourth place, and they are making up ground.
Big East begins to pull again.
They're trying to make it up on the inside, but now they've got a few boats coming up behind them, Northwing and CMR.
There he is. He falls off again. He may have a technical issue here.
Interesting to see what's going on.
He may have a technical issue here.
Jackhammer out in the lead. Team Bermuda, GL Construction now in second. CMR Roofing and Construction in fourth, as Big East sits now in third, about a rooster tail length behind Team Bermuda, GL Construction. Jackhammer goes around the dogleg. 7 laps. This will put 2 down in the books.
I think Team Bermuda now knows that they have that Gary has got an issue back there.
Well, but Big East is going to be back on the inside. If Team Bermuda doesn't close the door on him and leaves it open, I expect to see Cole and Gary kind of tuck up in the middle just a little bit, about a rooster tail length and a half behind.
He doesn't want it. He's got
Bermuda.
He's got enough boat lengths on him. I think that
I think he's probably going to shut the door. I don't think it's going to stay open for very long.
Well, it's just going to mean that Big East has got to cross that wake, which is going to lose even more speed. You lose a boat length crossing over and then resetting the boat for the turn.
Sean Connor, Sean Torrente in the CMR MTI.
Those guys came up from the behind, didn't they?
Yep, they did. We didn't even see them on the start. So GL Construction, Team Bermuda currently in second place. Jackhammer in first. Look at that, though. Big East able to tuck back up to the inside. Thought that might happen. Now look at this. Team Northwing trying to make a move on CMR. Top 5 battles in Superstock are epic. here at Thunder at Cocoa on the beach. There is Big East, there is Team Bermuda, and I think CMR is right in the rooster tail behind Big East. Yep, there they are. They
look at those
stick their nose in. Whoa!
Look at those two lines they took. They took Bermuda, swung to the outside.
Big East had to jump way out. They got the door pinched on them. It's going to cost them a lot of speed.
Yep.
North Wing is going to be able to maybe tuck to the inside of Big East. Now CMR on the outside. Sean and Sean trying to just stay on the outside, stay in clean water. Let's see how that works out.
I'll tell you what, it's working out pretty well for them. They are staying clear of all the traffic. Yep. They're able to do this, and if they can chip off boat length after boat length on there, they're going to find themselves into the mix. Then, knowing Sean Torrente and knowing these guys, they will begin to come in and mix it up and battle it out.
Performance Boat Center fast diesel fuel system gets around Allen Lawn Care Landscaping. We'll update what position that is for. As we're racing north here on the Atlantic Ocean, 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. Jackhammer continues to lead. Big East now in second.
Yeah, Jackhammer.
GL Construction Team Bermuda has fallen off, and that looks like Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems now coming up on the inside of them. Where did they come from? They were behind on the last lap, and that is, I believe, boat S21. Let's see what happens.
CMR just took a couple of flyers. As they get closer to the shore, they're going to see the swells build up out there. Even though they're running within the swells, you're going to take flyers after you go off on kitty corner, you know?
Jackhammer out in the lead. Team Bermuda in second. Big East now in a comfortable third, but they're going to have to start thinking about CMR.
Yeah, CMR's creeping up. You can take a look at it from here. They're starting. They're doing it by feet.
Just slowly starting to make their way up the inside. North Wing offshore. So right now it's Jackhammer in first, Team Bermuda in second, Big East in third, CMR in fourth, North Wing in fifth
place.
Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems in fifth.
Allen Lawn Care.
Allen Lawn Care Landscaping in sixth.
Coco Loco in
seventh. LPC in eighth. Steel Industries in ninth. And Team Celsius in 10th. Those are your top 10. Ooh, big flyer out there for Jackhammer, just out of our camera view. There they are, your leaders in Superstock. They are way out in front. Julia Maldonado and Reese Lanham in that victory hall.
They shouldn't be
battle now, Mark, the battle, wow. See, holy cow, what's happening in Superstock behind first place is amazing. Big East is just losing ground. North Wing is now on the inside of Big East. Let's see what we can see on our screen. That is Team Bermuda. Nope, that's Team North Wing battling deck to deck with Big East Construction.
These guys' hearts are jumping through their chest right now. They can smell it.
Oh, this is racing at its best.
They are fighting for every inch right now. Now Big East is fighting for their life.
Well, and CMR is up in that group too. CMR is, I think, actually in the middle of, yep, there's the bow. I see the red green. There's CMR. So it's North Wing, CMR, and Big East deck-to-deck battle right now for third place. Team Bermuda comfortably in second. Jackhammer way out in front.
Look at this. You got three wide down the back stretch. Oh, listen.
And I think Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems is just behind this
Bermuda
group.
took a flyer, and CMR just pulled through it.
So CMR now into third. They have worked their way into the middle of this group. They ran the outside of the course. Sean and Sean ran the outside to run that clean water, and it has paid off. And they're pulling on Team Bermuda.
They are. It looks like Sean Torrente had something up his sleeve here.
But no, Bermuda's slowing. All the boats are catching them from our vantage point. It looks like Team Bermuda is slowing, but we'll see. They head down into the dogleg. Jackhammer is already through the dogleg, as this is the battle now for third. CMR in third, and I believe North Wing is now up into fourth, as Big East, I think, is just out of our camera view here.
No, he's in the whitewash here. So Big East is now got to do some work.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. CMR is now into second place. They have gotten around Team Bermuda GL Construction. They have. They are currently now in second place. They're going to start lap number 3.
And North Wing out offshore just pulled into third place.
Well, I think that might have been Team Bermuda, but let's see when they come back
77.
by. A little harder to see on our screen here. Jackhammer continues to lead in the victory hall, and I believe CMR in the MTI hall is in second.
So our fans know offshore here, as it gets down 1.5 miles down, we're working off of a camera, and we're working off the cameramen are doing a tremendous job today.
Yep.
So we're trying to pick out as well as using our data points, but our data points click off as they pass through the start-finish line.
Our Case Productions team doing a fantastic job here. It's a 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, presented by Keltec. This is the Super Stock race, and Mark, it is an epic one.
Unbelievable.
To say the least. Jackhammer is in the lead. Let's see if it's CMR. I believe they're going to be in second. There's Big East Construction. There is North Wing. And I believe that might actually be, yep, it is, Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. Rusty Williams, Myrick Coyle have gotten up into this group, and Big East Construction seems to be losing some ground. I like Cole Leibel's idea of making the boat easy to see. Definitely easy to see with that bright green
I keep
color.
calling it the baby Geico boat.
Of course, Cole Leibel is Lauren Leibel's son. Laurel Leibel, a multi-time world champion.
Look, you have 6 boats here. The first place boat, Jackhammer, is just walking away with this thing.
They're gone.
The 6 boats behind it are all within striking distance of each other.
Jackhammer's halfway into the Monster Mile by the other time the boats enter it. That's so they've got about a half a mile lead. As they get ready to exit the Monster Mile, the other boats will come across.
They've
the
all
start-finish
found
line.
the balance of the boat. They're each out there holding.
For now they have, but as they burn off the fuel, they could get a little bit lighter and maybe get a little bit flightier. Let's see how it goes. So CMR Roofing and Construction in second place. North Wing Offshore in third. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems now trying to make a move in the inside of Big East, Mark, for fourth place. Right now, I think the fastest boat on the course might be Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. Performance Boat Center. They seem to make up the most amount of ground. What a race we have going on here, though.
Well, the Performance boat just looks perfect on the water. They have got that. They literally notice the way Big East is taking little flyers here. They are a little closer to shore, but Performance Boat Center just looks like it's glued to the water.
Yeah,
it looks to me
it looks the fastest at this point. Jackhammer continues to lead. CMR Roofing in second. North Wing in third. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems has now moved up to fourth. What an epic race, though. We are on lap number 3 of 7, so almost to the halfway point of this super stock race.
All right, through the turns, what do we have here? We got Jackhammer on fire, just nailing the turns.
I mean, they have already exited to show you how much they are ahead. They've already exited the turn, headed down towards the dogleg. CMR Construction in second. That's Coco Monkeys. Now they're trying to get up on the inside of Big East. So Big East is just losing some speed as they are on the inside of Big East Construction. Not sure what's going on with Big East. They're right up towards the front. Mark, they could just be losing their setup. They may have gone too light in the beginning. That was a great start by all the super stock teams. Looked like they held their lane through the first turn. Everybody did a great job, and it has led to some epic battles.
Well, they're in 5th place now, and they're in danger of moving back to 6th place now.
I think so. Yeah, because there's a boat on the outside of Al Lawn Care Landscaping's coming up. But as we pan back out, if we can, I still think the fastest boat on the course is Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. They are making up ground on boats number 2 and boats number 3. CMR in second. That is the MTI hull. Sean Torrente, Sean Connor in the MTI hull. North Wing Offshore in third. And Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems in fourth. Rusty Williams, Myrick Coyle trying to catch Darren Kitteridge and Grant Bruggerman.
You got CMR's about 20 seconds off of the first place leader, Jackhammer, right
Jackhammer just has to finish now. This is their race. It's in the bag. It's past the halfway
Jackhammer
point.
needs to ease out a little bit and make sure he saves that boat right now. That's the smartest thing that you can do. The problem is as you're in the boat, as things are happening, your crew's calling you, you're jacked up, you just feel like you got to be at full tilt right now. I don't see them losing time. They seem to be keeping this pace. Everybody else is fighting for it, so naturally they are going to creep up a little bit. They are going to creep up on it, but the distance they have, they're in a comfortable position right now to take the win.
Jackhammer continues to lead in super stock. CMR Roofing in second. North Wing Offshore in third. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems in fourth. Reese Lanham, Julia Maldonado doing a great job since the start of the race. They avoided some of that chaos in the first turn. They were able to get to clean water, get out to the early lead, and they have not looked back as they complete lap number 3 on to lap number 4. There is CMR and there is North Wing. Mark, I don't know why CMR looks like they're a bit slow through the corner. May have just been our view. But they may have to contend with North Wing. North Wing looked really fast on the outside. There they are. There's the MTI versus the Doug Wright. There is Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. Mark, look how much ground they have made up. I told you last time by, I think they're the fastest boat on the course, and they are on a mission to get on the podium here at Thunder on Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, the boat is carrying very, very well. I just don't know if they have enough to get up there. They
got 3 laps left. I'm going to be the optimist here and say they've got a chance. I mean, everybody's got a chance, but they are making up the most amount of ground.
You got a couple of fast boats here. Let's look at the splits here on this thing on this next next pass.
So Jackhammer comes around to complete lap number 3, on to lap number 4. They are halfway through the Monster Mile. The other boats haven't even entered the Monster Mile yet.
CMR's just pulling through it.
Look for more changes as the season progresses with Monster Mile. Of course, Monster Energy Drink, the official energy drink of P1 Offshore. Pick up Monster Energy at your local convenience store.
Look at the track position for CMR. CMR is still running this outside line.
Mark, I'm not even worried about CMR. Look at Performance Boat Center. They are now in the rooster tail of Northwing. They are going to have the inside of this corner. Mark, they are easily within striking distance of that third place position right now. They are the fastest.
If they keep the pace up. If they keep the pace up. But notice that CMR has pulled out to their
CMR went
fast.
back out
he
to that outside
line.
He likes that order out there.
It's far off. I think he also knows he can set up for this
But
turn.
he's in a bad way. He's going to have, Sean's going to really have to pinch down, because look where Northwing is. Northwing is just to the inside of this group.
Well, you can hold track position for one lap by putting your boat in the right place. So he's got 2 laps that he's going to have to hold at least a 2-3 second
Well, and
split.
look there, Torrente and Sean and Sean just did that. They ran right down to the buoy, pinched it off, did not let Northwing get up inside of there.
No.
Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems had to jump back to the outside. So that's going to separate this group just a little bit. But let's see what Rusty and Myra can do. I think they were the fastest boat on the course that time by. They have made up the most ground going after a podium position.
So Performance Boat Center is about 4 seconds behind CMR right now. They're about 4 seconds behind CMR right now.
And CMR is 21 seconds behind Jackhammer. So Jackhammer, again, really nothing to worry about. Lap number 4 of 7. We are past the halfway point. But here goes Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. They're on the outside of Northwing. CMR would really like to look behind them and see this. It might give CMR a little bit of breathing room.
Look, this battle for third, fourth, and fifth place is they are all within a second.
I haven't seen a super
They're all within a second of
years.
each other, guys. You can't believe that's how incredible and tight this competition is. They are all fierce competitors in those boats. You have Cole Leibel, driver of Briggs Construction, Gary Ballou, Throttles, running a 32 victory. You have Northwing, you have Darren Kittredge, Grant Brugerman, experienced guys, and a 32 Doug Wright with 300 power.
Well,
and CMR, Sean Connor and Sean Torrente running a 32 MTI with 300 Rs.
This is Darren Kittredge's second race with Grant inside the boat, and it's a great one to say the least, dealing with Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems.
Look, I started running against Grant back in the early days, back in the early 2000s.
Well, I think
he was a fierce
the old
competitor.
Hulk boat too, isn't it? Isn't Northwing the old Hulk boat? I think that it is. We'll get confirmation on that later, but I think Northwing is the old Hulk boat.
I noticed when I looked at the high bustle on that back, I was like, geez, that boat looks familiar.
Let's watch Performance Boat Center and Northwing go into the dog leg. Performance Boat Center is going to be on the inside. Will they be able to make a left-hand pass? I don't think they're going to be close enough. A little bit, nope, they're a little bit further behind. They're about a rooster tail length behind now. They had to jump back to the outside.
Big East now pushed down to 6th place.
Yep. Alan Longcare Landscaping has gotten around them. And Mark, every time you have to jump over the rooster tail or jump over the wake of one of these boats, you're losing speed.
Call it a boat length.
Yep.
Call it a boat length.
Yep.
Right? Because that little bit of inefficiency in the hull, little bit of inability to get the boat right where you want to, get the balance back. Because remember, you're going over wakes, so the boat rocks and dips down into the water, which slows you down.
So look how much ground Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems has lost on Northwing. Now Northwing looks like they've made up a little bit of ground on CMR. So is Northwing going to make a run for second? Jackhammer out to the big 21-second lead. Not much has changed for those guys, so their crew is telling them, look, just maintain your pace. We'll let you know if anything changes.
This is beautiful right here. This is beautiful.
That's CMR. Whoa, big square down to that corner. Squared it up tight. There goes.
They're all tight in this
there goes
thing.
Northwing. Be careful back there, Performance Boat Center. You had to cut back across. Rusty and Marek trying to just find their line. Can they stay in there? It looks pretty tight.
Yeah, that cost him a little bit there. He had to turn the boat a little harder. The more input into those into the engines as you drive, you're slowing that boat down. Yep. And at these speeds, remember they're turning at somewhere in the neighborhood of 80, 90 miles an hour. Those speeds, it's going to cost you half a boat.
Well, and Darren and Grant may know that Performance Boat Center may be a little bit faster. Now they're running a wider course, maybe running a little bit, playing a little bit of defense.
He's going to hold them tight.
Yep,
He's going to hold them tight, which means that boat behind you has to put more steering input, slows them down a little bit. You get straight first, you edge out another half a boat length. So you put them back and you make them fight back for that next boat. This is classic offshore boat racing.
Oh, big hop there by CMR as they run the outside line again. Lap number 4 complete, starting lap number 5. 2 laps remain here at Thunder on Cocoa Beach. CMR in second.
And you can see Northwing now pushes to the outside, trying the outside line.
See, Performance Boat Center's got, I think, a better top speed setup, Mark.
We're going to find out right now. We got a 19-second, you got a 3-second split between CMR and North. And let's see where that changes out to. There was a 3-second split between the two.
Well, now Northwing goes all the way to the outside.
You have a 4-second split now. So it optically it looks like it, but the reality is they're kind of holding position. So they're on the edge. Everybody is all the way out right now. It's getting close to, they're smelling that checker flag coming up here. So they're all in it. Everybody's in it. The only one who should be sandbagging here at all should be Jackhammer.
Well, I definitely don't want to think they're sandbagging. They
holding back, holding back.
They don't have to run as hard as they can. So CMR goes to the inside.
And they have. You can see they pulled back that lead to 16 seconds, where it was at 24 seconds.
But if they can maintain it, I mean, if their crew on land is telling them, how much of a lead they have. But, Mark, I think Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems made a move for 4th. Let's see if we can find that. Or for 3rd, rather. I think they did. Just to the top of your screen.
Let's see where we are up here.
There they are right there. So that's CMR. There's CMR Construction.
Yeah, Performance Center did it.
They did it. So they've gotten now into 3rd place.
Unbelievable
racing.
Not
by much, though. Less than a half a rooster tail length, it looks like, by our vantage point. So let's see if Darren and Grant have something for them on the outside. What a move or a race by Rusty and Myrick in Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. That was a great battle. But look, here comes Northwing back on the outside. They're just in the rooster tail. They're right there.
They're going to fight for this, right? Once you lose a position, it's like someone just took something. Like they took your child away, and you are going to push as hard as you possibly can. So you're probably going to see Northwing loosen the boat up. There's a good and a bad to it. You get a little faster, but you can take a flyer. We've got a swell out here right now, and that means that you could end up losing a half a boat length to it. So it's always finding that balance.
I'm going to say that this is still the fastest boat on the course. They're starting to pull now from Northwing, and I think they're starting to catch up to CMR. So Performance Boats, Fast Diesel Fuel Systems now in 3rd over Northwing. Jackhammer continues to lead, CMR in 2nd.
Now Northwing's got track position. From this optical view here, it looks like Performance is out in front. But Northwing does, they're tight enough there where they're going to have track position. They can get some good water here. I have to tell you, at some point, somebody's going to have to dive into one of these turns and start shaving off. As you get closer to the finish, the glory moves happen, right? You have to take that risk of diving in and trying to find an extra second or two on a turn by going in hard.
Fast Diesel Fuel Systems Performance Boat Center has the X Insurance helicopter in tow. X Insurance providing aerial footage for the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach offshore powerboat races. Go to p1offshore.com, keep up with your favorite team, follow our schedule, and pick up some merchandise, or follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, P1 Offshore.
Yeah, Performance Boat Center is licking at them now. They're licking right at the end of that rooster tail.
Oh yeah, they're two rooster tail lengths ahead of Northwing. So now let's see. There they are right there.
Ooh.
Let's see. Now this is out of the dog leg. That's past turn number 6. 7, 8, and 9. Loud lay in front of them. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems on the outside. CMR.
CMR is going to pin these turns. He's not giving anybody anything.
Hard too, and
he's going to square it right off. Pin them. And now it's Performance. Now it's a little lumpy coming out of there. What I would have done was taken the clean water dive in, and I got right into his wake, and then let him knock down a little bit, see if I can get there, then move out to cleaner water, whether it be to the inside or the outside.
Well, and you can see how much ground he lost to CMR going through that corner. They were right there with CMR. Unfortunately, Team Bermuda GL Construction down in the middle of the course. They are under their own power. Tough day for those guys as they were up in this lead battle.
They sure were.
Group.
Wow, what tremendous racing. Those guys really, really put it in today.
So Jackhammer should complete lap number 5.
Yeah, Jackhammer's on cruise control right now.
100%.
He's on cruise control right now. That's smart racing.
And CMR, although CMR cannot be on cruise control.
No.
Mark, they're a lot closer than what we thought. About a rooster tail length separates 2 and 3 in super stock.
Like Sean and Torrente are really, they're fighting for their lives. Now it looks like you've got a 3 second, 2.5 second, 3 second gap.
And they're running tighter in. They were further out last time by. They're running in as they get ready to exit the Monster Mile.
They definitely smell it. He's got to watch out now. Now he's got to protect his position.
Well, and he's going to. I expect Sean and Sean to run right down to that buoy and turn right down to
Absolutely.
it, close the door.
No question. No, he's not going to close the door. He's just going to take the optimal turn.
I think he's slamming the door in their face, to be honest with you. He's not going to let them get in.
I would do that. Oh, well, maybe.
I don't know about all that. He can't let them get in there, though. I think he's going to know they're going to be faster.
Absolutely.
And I've got a new fast boat in the course, and I think that's Alan Lawn Care Landscaping.
We got LPC back here.
Yeah, LPC is making up some ground. Unfortunately, Big East Construction just continues to fall off the pace.
Yeah, I think he had some issues. He had some issues up front.
Wow, look at the battle right now for second, though. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems is right there. They are to the inside. And I think they had to hop back to the outside. I can't quite tell yet.
Yeah, he would have had to. He definitely would have had to. You can't. He wasn't going to let him in.
But apparently they can make up the speed, so they're obviously quite comfortable with having to make that move.
Now watch how those rooster tails, when you see the spikes in the rooster tail, that means the boat is out of the water. Obviously, the propeller's in the water. You're not making speed there.
Yep.
So you got to keep that boat down in the water. That's where you're going to keep your forward motion.
And there's a pretty big swell out there because you can lose a little bit of sight of the super stock 32-foot Doug Wright and Victory hulls.
Yeah, Sean and Torrente just put that extra second back on.
And just to clarify for your viewers, it's Sean Connor and Sean Torrente. So when he says Sean and Torrente, he's not saying Sean Torrente. He's saying Sean and Torrente. Just want to make sure everybody knows
You don't want me to spell things out, right? S-H-U-N and S-E-N. Sean the sheep.
Right. Jack Hammer continues to lead. CMR in second. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems in third. North Wing in fourth. Allen Lawn Care Landscaping now is making up some ground on this three-way battle for second place. Let's see if they can get up into the mix.
Yeah, usually you see Allen's Lawn Care is up there. Those guys do their homework. You know,
it's a good rough water set. It's one of the best rough water boats out there.
Super experienced guys out there. They fight for it when they're in the mix. That's for darn sure.
John Strema and Billy Allen. Of course, Billy Allen pulling double duty. He'll be in Clovar tomorrow, which will be one of our Super Cat entries. Clovar moving up from the Super Stock class. Now look at this. North Wing, by my vantage point, looks like they may be making a move for third. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems is going to control.
I told you they weren't going to let it go easily.
No.
And they're in the right position here. If they can get their nose up, on performance,
yeah, they've got to get a nose in.
They can begin to push him a little bit wide on this turn and hold that inside line. If they can hold that inside line around the turn, it gives them a position coming out of the turn to push him a little wider. And he's going to have to run through those other wakes. So
this should start our final lap coming around this time for Jackhammer. They continue to lead. We've lost our clock over to the side, but it was about an 18-second lead last time by. So they will enter the Monster Mile here shortly for one time.
This is a hell of a battle going on for third, fourth, for second, third, and fourth. It is a hell of a battle.
We've got a little bit of a slow-mo on our hopper there. Whoa. Showing to you that's a little bit rougher out there than you have anticipated. There's CMR, there is Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems, there is North Wing. Let's see how this pans out. Sean and Sean have been running a very tight pin. There goes Jackhammer, your leader.
Yeah, they're going to do it again here. They're going to hold that.
Look at the big rollers up there, though. Did you see the big rollers?
I'm telling you, it looks like it's dead flat out there. It is not dead flat.
Oh no, Big East. As I look up from our monitor, just to give everybody up to date, Big East is down on the north end of the course after having a great run for Cole and Gary. They are down and assisted by
that started on those things. Yep. When we saw them accelerate and pull back and accelerate and pull back. It's a shame because that boat, honestly, from the way that start was, should have been up front. Should have been up front pressing on Jackhammer.
So Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems comfortably in third, trying to make a move for second. Jackhammer enters the Monster Mile one more time. This should be the final lap, or should start the final lap this time by.
We'll see where these splits come down as well.
Or is that the checkered flag? I believe that's the checkered flag. May have been a lap count off. Yep, that wraps it up. Jackhammer's turning the inside, so they are going to be unofficially first place in Superstock.
This is holding it. CMR is going to take second place.
Not by much, though. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems. I think Rusty's probably kicking the throttles to the dash. Saying, give me as much as you can, baby. Come on.
That.
He's trying to look up the inside.
Wow, what a battle.
What a race in Superstock.
Incredible racing here in Cocoa Beach. Couldn't get better. Nice little chop on the water.
Yep.
Sunny day.
So CMR would be in second. Performance Boat Center Fast Diesel Fuel Systems in third. North Wing in fourth. Allen Lawn Care Landscaping in fifth.
Northwing really got in there and mixed it up, didn't they?
They were right with them.
They were like a spoiler in there, getting everything. They were. You didn't know where they were. They were in second. They were in third. They were in fourth. They were in third. They pressed so hard today.
So the top 3 boats will have to go back and get tech inspected, meet a weight requirement, get their computer scanned. A lot of things happening in Super Stock for the top 3 boats. Here comes LPC. They're going to come across in 5th.
I mean, listen, hats off to those top 5 boats. I mean, they did not let off this entire race. That's what you want to see in offshore racing.
Coco Monkeys in 6th, Team Celsius in 7th. Big East is down off plane. It looks like they're actually moving towards a crane. GL Construction is down off a plane. They were idling up the middle of the course. To recap, Super Stock.
Jackhammer, CMR, Performance Boat Center.
What
First, second, third.
Epic battle that was in Super Stock. Hats off to all the teams. Great racing. We are going to wrap up the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach, coming to you live from Cocoa Beach, Florida.
The Saturday race. We're not wrapping the whole thing up. We got a whole day's racing tomorrow. The big boys are out. It's going to be hammer down. I can tell you, those guys are back in the pits doing homework all night long. Arranging their setup, balancing the boats out, making sure their weight is perfect for this race, and it will be another tremendous day. The weather forecast, just like today, it will be perfect.
Thunder on Cocoa Beach race would like to thank Keltec for their continued support. Keltec designs firearms right here in Brevard County, Florida that are innovative in design and exciting to use. Look for them at your favorite firearms dealer. Of course, Monster Energy, the official energy drink of P1 and Class 1 offshore racing. Sea Ray Boats, the official pace boat of the 2023 Thunder on Cocoa Beach. Thanks to Butt Racks, CMR Construction and Roofing, Cape Marina, X Insurance. Visit spacecoast.com, Good Boy Vodka, Wallace Air Conditioning and Heating, Mercury Racing, JT's Social Bar located inside of the La Quinta Inn in Cocoa Beach, Bale Brothers Cranes and Rigging, Coconuts on the Beach, Sandbar Sports and Grill, Cocoa Beach Fish Camp, Golf and Gator, Direct Graphic, Controls on Demand, Boat and Motor Superstore, and AmVet Concrete Coating. Thanks to all of our sponsors and, of course, Keltec for their continued support. I am Mike Uoski, Mark Granite. That was some great racing, good qualifying. Really looking forward to what everybody has to bring out tomorrow. Go to P1 Offshore to follow us for more information, or P1 on Facebook or Instagram.
If you own a home or business, it might surprise you to see what is not covered in your insurance policy. There are gaps and exclusions in primary and umbrella policies that make you a target if an incident or claim occurs and you don't have the right coverage in place. And that's why you need a true umbrella policy from X Insurance. There are 40 million lawsuits filed every year in the USA. Let's get that target off your back.